Hey, everybody. We should be live. Let me put the chat up on stream. I don't know how that disappeared. Um, so, how's everybody doing today?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. Glad to hear it. Man, we've had an exciting week. We've had some games we played. I got a bunch of stuff in the mail to show off. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. Um, so, uh, so I know you guys out there know who I am. I am Game Master Roger. This is my neighborhood. And today we've got Decado to my right, and Ken is below me. He's got the widescreen going on there until Jason shows up, which he's running a little late this evening. So I'm not saying we got to stall, but
Yeah. Bide for time. Bide for time.
yeah.
Bam, bam.
I mean, we'll talk about some other stuff anyway. So what today we're going to be talking about etiquette in gaming, and hopefully that's going to be a great time, and hopefully we can get some good pointers and whatnot in there. So talking about things that maybe sometimes get frustrating, or things that we want people to do that they don't do, or things that you just should be doing when you're visiting other people's houses and in other people's games and things like that. Um, but first, let's talk about what kind of gaming that we've done this week. I know, in addition to my normal weekly CNC game on Sunday, I've started a short superhero campaign using the Sentinels RPG game. Ken was in that, and we've been doing that on Sunday. Well, I was going to say Sunday mornings, but I mean we're starting at 11 o'clock, so
11.
I guess it's still Sunday morning. But for me on a Sunday, that's Sunday morning.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, that's early on a Sunday.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's the gaming I did. We had some fun. It was the first time. Well, I've ran the game before a few years ago. It's the first time I'm running it for this group, and we're doing kind of like a Silver Age, modern day kind of thing. And I think it worked out really well. Everybody seemed to enjoy themselves and whatnot. So, what did you think of the
Yeah.
game, Ken?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It played a lot smoother than I thought it was going to play.
Yeah.
Stan, do you know anything about the Sentinel comic game?
Nope.
It's a dice pool game, and you typically roll 3 dice based on 3 different attributes, and you take the middle result. And you have to pick the attributes each time, which I thought was going to be the difficult part. But you have a long time to think about what you want to do, or the normal D&D round time to
Right.
think about what you want to do. So grabbing the dice and rolling them ends up being a lot faster than I thought it was going to be, and it was less clunky than I thought it was going to be. So
Nice.
Yeah.
went pretty smooth. Yeah.
That's the
Well,
one genre I haven't ventured into is supers. We've never done
yeah.
anything.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Is there a reason why, or just not the group's not into it, or
I think not into it. Like they're all superhero fans. I mean,
yeah,
but their gaming is they really like fantasy. Like we've ventured outside of
sure,
that a little bit, but we always come back to fantasy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like to stray every now and again, and
So do I.
run something
So do
crazy
I.
and stuff. And that's the supers thing is completely like separate. And they use Popcorn Initiative, which is interesting. So basically, once you go, you get to pick who goes next.
Oh.
So and and then once everybody's gone, the last person that went gets to choose who starts the next round, and you can't choose yourself, right? So, but you'll have, and then the environment also gets a turn. So, so there's some like environmental factors that are going on, and
There,
then
yeah,
there's
that was
minions.
kind of an interesting twist
Yeah.
because there's at one point he had two adversaries. It was a group of minions and a main adversary, and then the scene itself that evolves over time. And on my turn, I had to decide: do I hand it to the minions to go, or do I just let the players go? But if we just keep going, yeah, players go. If we don't finish this, he gets to go with his all his guys, and then since he's the last to go, the minions can pick the boss to go next round and go again with all
Oh.
those things.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of like, oh, when do we want to hand it over
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
hold
Yeah.
on to it and get that one more move out.
Yeah. And I did that
So
in
that's
that
pretty
one
neat.
round where
Hmm.
like you guys went and then handed it to me. And so I was like, oh, environment puts out another night, right? And then they're going to point to the knights go, hammered you guys, and then
Hmm.
then we pass it to the dragon, and then the dragon goes, and then new round, dragon passes it to the environment, puts out another
Hmm.
knight, knights
Yeah.
go, and then passes it to the dragon. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I was just,
That's pretty rough.
and yes, it was like all in a row. And then I think that's when you guys were like, oh yeah, we got to not do that like that.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Now, but it's cool because you choose who you want to pass the initiative to.
That is
So
cool.
Hmm.
you kind of like everybody, and you can kind of chain things where somebody will say, hey, oh, I've got this ability, I can boost everybody. So pass it to me first. And then, oh, I can do this thing, and then I can get on top of this, or I've got a way of
Hmm.
weakening this guy, and then you can, come in for the kill or whatever, or, well, kill, but yeah. And so that's really interesting, the strategy of that. And you kind of get to bounce around and figure out, who you want to go, and, who you want to go
That
when.
was probably the most round to round strategy that I've seen at a table in the last like 5 years or whatever, since like
Yeah.
Shadowrun a long time ago,
Wow.
but where it was like,
Yeah.
wait,
Wow.
pass it to me because I can then buff the whole team, and then if he goes, he can do this and reduce that guy's. And we were all just thinking about that without, getting too mired down in the rules,
Yeah.
which was
And
pretty
it
good.
seemed like nobody, like one of the good things, right? Like was with that kind of system, like everybody seemed involved, even though it wasn't
Mm.
everybody's turn, and like specific. And because of the turn order not being there, you don't have that thing where you're like, oh, okay, 5 people got to go before I'm gonna go.
Hmm.
Like, so I could check out, for a little bit.
Yep.
And with that, it's like, oh shit, I gotta be alert and active, because at any point someone's gonna say, you go now, like it's your
Hmm.
turn,
That's good.
go.
It keeps
And
them
so
paying attention.
yeah, it keeps
Yep.
that. And so that was really exciting. That was really cool, I think. So yeah, that was a blast. So I'm gonna run that, I think, for 4 or 5 sessions. It's probably gonna end up being 4 sessions, because you guys ran through stuff pretty quick. And we
Cool.
ended a little early, so you guys are
Nice.
on top of stuff. I was
Gotta
expecting
be.
there to be some more like role playing and like wrap up and all that stuff, and you guys are like Nope, we're going to the thing. We're going to the next thing. Like,
Hit it like a SWAT team. Just
we got to get
Yeah.
out of here. Yeah.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
like a
Yeah,
SWAT
they're
team.
like we like wrap this up. We stab this. I had a clockwork dragon type of thing going on in some nights, so I still can't get away from fantasy either, Stan. but
It happens.
yeah, and they as soon as those guys dropped, they were like, yeah, we got shit to do. We're gone. Like what? God, we gotta go.
That's like my Friday night group when we first started playing Shadow Dog. Like that group's a pretty heavy role play group, and
Yeah.
we first started playing Shadow Dog. Like nobody was role playing, and it was just we were hitting room after room.
Yeah.
I mean, we cleared like 7 rooms in
Nice.
half the session. We were like, we didn't do any role playing, but man, we really covered some ground.
Well, it's weird with Shadow Dark because you got the torch timer or whatever. and
Torch timer and always being an initiative.
like and it's and it's not like it's that much to carry a couple extra torches, you know what I mean, to just be
Right.
able to relight one. But when you've got a countdown timer or a sand timer or something in front of you that's like, hey, this is we're not counting rounds anymore, so we can't sit here and
Yeah.
talk for 40 minutes, like and the sand's like dripping out. You're like, oh man, no, we're gonna milk this torch for all it's got,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you just gotta
We finally broke into some role play. My character died, and I brought in pre-gen, which was the Goblin Wizard, and then I kind of got into playing him, so I started just making weird comments and shit, and everybody else was like, "Oh yeah, okay," and then somehow I wound up the leader of the party, which still baffles me to this day. But they were like, "Yep, he's in charge," and I'm like, "All right, guys are doomed."
Nice.
It was a lot of fun to play. That was a good
What
game.
what other gaming have you done this week, Stan?
This week I played 2 games this week. My Thursday night group, we played DCC Lankmar.
Nice.
Started a new adventure in that. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a pre-written adventure. A lot of fun. Really
Yeah.
enjoying both the system and the settings. Awesome. They did a great job with it. Goodman did a great job with Lankmar.
I've got the Greatest Thieves of Lankmar box set. I want to run that at some point.
Oh yeah, that's the second one. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so.
My buddy Chris, who's running that for us, he has that too, and he did the Humble Bundle that they just had. So he's got
Oh yeah. Like all the
tons of stuff.
PDFs and some physical rewards with that
He
one,
got
right?
he got another core box set, which he gave to one of our players. He's like, "Here, dude, I already have
Nice.
one. Here you go." And then he got a few other things too, and yeah, it was really worth it. I probably should have done it, but I didn't.
I stole the day thing, the calendar.
Oh
thing
yeah,
with the days where it's like
yeah.
the day of the pig, or like it's this is the day of the fish. It's an unlucky day to go fishing or whatever. It's
Oh, that's
unlucky
awesome.
to build stuff and all that. And I put that on one of my players to adjudicate now. So he's got the list. So I'm like, oh, it's the 12th, the day of the, and he's got pull it out on the paper and like read it and stuff. But it's cool.
An unlucky
cool
day
thing.
for planting.
It's one of the things that I'm really impressed by the job that Goodman did with it, and maybe other. I'm sure I have the old TSR versions too, and those were great. But like it's just neat because we're not using miniatures or anything like that, but we do have the map of the city out. So he'll be, we're like, hey, you guys got to go to this, and then we'll look around on the map because the map's really nice, and we're like, oh, it's on Damp Street, and there's always a running joke about us stopping at Whore Street and spending gold, and but it's really good. I'm a big fan of that setting anyway, like that old school sword and sorcery style, and I think the modifications that they made to the system to fit that were really good. So it was really good. We actually had another player join us.
I think that was all Michael Curtis. I think he was the one that put all that together, right? Yeah.
Working with the Liber estate, like, getting like, there's the village that all of our characters are from was like a note in Liber's notes, and he added it to the setting.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, I ran my Cast Crusades campaign. It was the 76 session for that. And
wow.
Yeah, that was a neat one because we kind of did a little. Typically, they just run the same characters with some exceptions, but
Sure.
they have a couple followers like in the group. They're a little bit more than followers. There's like more narrative reason why they're with the group, but they're low level, so we don't really ever do anything with them. So the last few sessions, the main party's been like underneath the city dealing with a problem, and so we kind of did a flashback to, and they left these characters behind, which they typically do, and so they got to play those characters, and then the rest of the group made other characters and like first level characters, so they got to bomb around the city during this big attack and be heroes and stuff like that. So got to see like a different part of what was going on and
cool.
flesh out those two NPCs a little bit more, and in style and stuff. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we've got in my CNC game, we got people played different characters and stuff based on
we do
and all that. So
we have a little bit of that. Like we have what we call the main groups, the A team, and then there's the B team.
Yeah.
Not everybody has a B team character because I usually don't.
Yeah.
I've only run the B team for the most part on Thursday night, and I play with some of the same players, all the same players, but some of them aren't there. So it's that's a weekly game, and some of my guys can't do that. So, but we have the B team, and now when we came up with this idea, and everybody loved those characters, they're like, "Oh, I think you might have started something. We might have to play these guys again." So now we got the C team, so which is fine. I don't mind that stuff because then it just helps flesh out the world a little bit more.
It kills me when my group starts talking the A team, B team, like the mains and alts. That's what they use, mains and alts. And I'm like, they're all characters in the game. There's no mains. Yeah. Nobody's a main. It doesn't matter. They're like, well, these are the higher level. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I think that's just a game. Natural thing because my guys did the same thing. It's the A team, the B team, now the C team. And they're all like staggered in level a little bit. Like the A team is 7th, 8th level, B team 6th level, and the C team is 1st, 2nd level now.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's about our
distribution
distribution
for the B team.
Yeah.
We just got a C team, so we can't say mains and alts anymore.
That's right.
Unless we're saying alts or something.
Oh my God. I gotta go. Ken, so Ken was in my supers game. What other gaming you been up to this week?
Other shenanigans, obviously supers and CNC was my Sunday. Monday, yesterday, I did a game of Chiselheart, which is my OSR Daggerheart.
Yeah.
And that went really well. Had a great time. The players, about half of the original players could show up then, and the other half are going to show up on Thursday with another, like a guest player. And they're going to do a different little mission, but they have a base. They're clearing it out. They're exploring the city. So that was great. And then Wednesday, I'm going to be doing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but it's not going to be as an RPG. It's just going to be the board game version where I throw out the map and go, okay, you've walked into the room. There's 8 kobolds. What do you do? Or, whatever happens.
Yeah.
So
are you running it that way because it's just something you're trying, or is it like new people or?
We're running it that way because it's normally a board game group. And one of the guys in the group has this, he's had this desire to have a tactical RPG experience.
Yeah.
But the rest of the group doesn't like sitting around and doing a shopping episode or whatever, right? So
I
was like, hey, Pathfinder already is kind of geared to just do the tactical decisions, right? And we do some real light, like you see a lever and you see a chest, what do you do? I'm going to check this out. I'll weigh the things on the statue's hand. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the solution to the puzzle. Next. Now there's 3 kobolds. What do you do? So the first episode went really well, or the first chapter or whatever. Now they're level 2, getting their next things in. And I forgot how complicated Pathfinder is.
Oh,
it is so crunchy.
It is very crunchy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the setting in the world and the characters.
Me too.
And stuff. Yeah. And I have a big collection of the 1E stuff for the core books and some of the APs, but I was looking at one of the APs the other day, and I would love to run this adventure, but I would have to convert it to another system.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
I planned on running a couple of them at one point. I mean, the pirate one I wanted to run, and
I ran that one.
and
I ran that one.
the is that
It went
Black
off the rails
Seas
really
or
quick.
what's it called?
Yeah.
Black Seas or something? Well,
No,
yeah,
it's
because you like start
cannot
off and you're like
remember.
on the ship, and you have an opportunity to
Mhm.
get a ship like right away, but you
Yeah.
gotta like you gotta pull a heist, I think, to get it or something, or
Mhm.
steal it, and then people are chasing you
Yeah.
for it. I mean, and it's a whole I mean, I could see that getting out of hand in a hurry. And then there was the oh man, it's like the chosen one or type of thing. AP. I was gonna
The
run that
Mythic
at some
Powers
point.
or whatever.
I don't remember what the
Mm.
group's like, the chosen group that saved the world or something. I don't know, but I
Mm.
guess that's every
That's all of them.
that's all. Yeah, right. But yeah, there was another one
Stan,
because
do you
somebody
do
had it and they wanted me to run it, and I was gonna run it, and then it fell apart before it started. But
do you do Savage Worlds? Have you played Savage Worlds?
I've played it. I don't run it.
Stan?
No, I actually recently started looking at it only because of their Pathfinder content.
I had the Pathfinder content for it, and it was easier than Pathfinder to build characters and whatnot. But I ended up hating Savage Worlds as a system. That's just me. That's just a personal thing of mine because I know a lot of people that love Savage Worlds.
I see it get recommended a lot, and I've never looked at it until I was looking at Pathfinder, and then I was just like, well, if I'm going to learn a whole new system, I could just convert whatever AP
There's the
I want
guy.
to run.
There he is. How are we doing?
How am I doing? I am tired. I am hungry. But I've got cool stuff in front of me, and
we didn't get there yet.
Week, so
yeah, we didn't that yet.
We didn't do cool swag yet. That's coming.
Excellent.
Those are all my games.
Good time.
I'm done with the games.
We're
report
talking about gaming. Savage Worlds. That's the is that the D6 or the D10?
It is a die for each attribute. You might have a D4 strength.
Right.
D8,
Okay, and it
whatever.
increases the higher you are at it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if almost everything is exploding dice.
Yeah.
And that was one of my main things that I ran into is like the table kind of grinds to a halt while people go, I guess I'll choose this column. Oh, the 8 exploded. I'll roll again. Okay. Now I got to roll to block. Now I got to roll to soak some of the damage. And
all set.
I mean, some people love it though.
Yeah,
some people
it's
love
true.
it. And I just,
I've kind of gravitated away from
it's interesting. Yeah, like
I'm with you on that one.
The Supers game that we ran, Stan, you do like you choose a power, a quality, and then your status, right, based on your health, and you roll those 3 dice, and that's the effect. So, like, if your power is like a magic weapon, or whatever, super strength, whatever it is, and that's a D10, and then you're like you have like melee, for a D8, and then your status is like a D6. You roll those 3 dice, whatever the middle result is, like that's how much damage you do. Like that's it. There's no to hit. There's no like. And then like with the bad guys, they just have the minions have just 1 die. So you might have, this is a D6 bad guy, right? So say you do 5 damage to it, right? Now that minion rolls his die, D6, and if he gets a 5 or better, then he saves basically, and the minion will drop down to a D4. It'll drop down 1 die size at that point. If he doesn't save, he dies or he's knocked out of combat, So and that's it. So, I mean, that went really smooth because it's really, really easy. There's no like, okay, roll these dice, add these numbers up, and then, then we're going to roll these dice. We're going to compare the 2 results, and then we're going to roll damage. And like, my God, that stuff gets,
it's too slow.
It gets out of hand in a hurry, So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on the speed though. I think that, but that's like a more experienced GM thing. I kind of see the rules as like the training wheels, to help you get into like setting the mood, making things fair, accommodating people's superpowers. But once you know how to do that, you can get rid of a lot of that scaffolding and go, okay, one roll. We're just going to
Just
call
gonna
it
do
this,
this.
and I'll make a determination.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, Jason, we were talking about gaming that we've done the week. We've
on this channel
we've covered. Yeah, really. So a little bit of gaming talk. A little bit of talk about some other things, but like usual. But yeah, we talked about some gaming that we done in the week, and so you were in both my Supers game and the CNC game. I missed some of that. I don't know if you had any thoughts you wanted to throw out there on those, as far as the system, the super system is new. The Sentinel system is new to the group, and all of that. And Ken was saying that it went fantastic.
I thought it did too.
Yeah.
Supers is not my favorite genre. I'm, fantasy, close by Western, sci-fi, super, really down at the bottom. It's just not my gig. And I'd never even heard of Sentinels until you told me about it. But I had a blast. They really replicate the Silver Age, or at least the way you were running it. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. I'm in the middle of eating my dinner, so when my camera goes black, that's because I'm eating.
Yeah.
And I will also be muting myself when that happens. Anyway.
Thank you. Yeah.
Nobody needs to hear or see me eat, although my lasagna is delicious. Anyway, Sentinels did a really good job of replicating the Silver Age. Everything is over the top. And when we discussed it, you had said that about, this is my campaign to be Silver Age. So, the bad guys are going to monologue. They're going to tell you what their dastardly plans are, and you're going to somehow escape the trap. And I was like, okay, that's cool, man. I'm down with that. Again, not a superhero fan. I'm an hero. I'm a Punisher guy. That's all I really, Punisher, Batman, those are my guys.
Yeah.
And so I played someone completely opposite of what I would normally play. And I had a blast, man. The system works to my surprise, much to my surprise, honestly.
Yeah.
It works very, very well. And so that made it a lot of fun. When Joe told me, I'm probably talking too much. I missed the first half hour, so I'm sorry. When Joe described his character to us, and I even said it to him. So you're playing an NPC is what you're doing. And I was like, not impressed. I was like, oh, good God, really? I was wrong, man. He's playing Ken's sidekick. And I was like, wow, this totally fits. I'm down with this. It's going very well. I'm having a blast with it. Great system. Yeah. So
cool.
Hooray.
Yeah.
And CNC, I'm finally getting to play Ranger. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long time coming there.
Gosh, it's only been almost 2 years. Yeah, man. So I'm having a blast. Yeah. Really having a good time.
They have a great Ranger class too. So
CNC's Ranger is so good. I think the only thing that I could compare it to, other than 3.5, which is just it's 3.5. Hyperborea, the Hyperborea Ranger, man, I freaking love the Hyperborea Ranger. And CNC, it's great. I always have a good time playing a Ranger.
The only things I changed with the CNC Ranger was Wisdom is actually its prime. And I changed how
because it's strength, right?
Yes,
strength.
Yeah, Wisdom I think is a better suit.
It is. The only reason they picked strength, and I heard this on a Troll Lord video, was because they already had X amount of classes that had Wisdom as a prime.
Yeah,
and they wanted one with strength. It made no sense because none of its abilities are strength based.
Right, and for me, exactly, none of his abilities are strength based. And a strength based that assumes he's just going to go wading in combat with a broadsword. I use a bow. If I'm close enough to have to swing, and it does happen, then I'm too close. Roger and I discussed this, and for me, the Ranger should be strength or dex. You get to pick one of those two.
Dex makes sense.
It was like in 3.5, and you hit second level, you chose, are you a melee or an archer, and then your tree branched off. So I feel the same way about CNC, although the Wisdom totally makes sense to me. Almost all of his abilities are Wisdom based. I don't care if every class is Wisdom based. That's a ridiculous reason not to do this.
Why not make a better version of each individual class?
Yes.
And then the other thing I changed too was how favorite enemy worked, because as written, it's very specific. So like my son, when he got to the, I think it's 6th level, he's got to pick a favorite enemy, and he was like, well, I really want to giants. Like, I want to fight giants. And I'm like, awesome. I said, but the way it works,
so a giant,
right, which is stupid because
totally agree. Yeah.
Say you played the game to the levels that are provided. So at 6th level, I pick giant. I pick hill giant. Well, at 24th level,
you're right. It doesn't matter
about hill giants. Yeah. You know, like, and then that ability is wasted. So it's just we do it by types. So
you're at 6th level, yeah. You choose giants, like storm giants or something. It doesn't matter.
You know, giants can be. It's a pretty broad class. You know, there's 8 different giants, like, you know, then giant Ken and all that. So I would be like, okay, so at 6th level, you had to choose hill giant because you're not going to be fighting a storm giant at level 6.
Right.
And then maybe as you gain levels, instead of just keeping that, instead of being like all giants, you get this plus. Against hill giants, you get a +6, and against the latter giants, you know, that bonus maybe drops. Or you know, gets adjusted. I don't know.
Or you get to add different.
Or you convert it.
Right. Yes.
You slowly convert it. Like if you fight, you know, you're no longer fighting hill giants, but now you guys are fighting fire giants. Like you kill a dozen fire giants, and it's like okay, now this bonus should transfer.
Yes, exactly. Now you've gained experience in this particular type of giant. Now we're going to add this to the list. I like that. That worked great. I like that.
Yeah.
And we had this is a tangent kind of, but with the Ranger too, I one of the things I initially, and I still really like about CNC is that the Rangers don't, in the core book, they don't cast spells.
Yes.
You know, there's 4.
Yeah.
My son, on the other hand, he actually likes the idea of them and there is rules for it in I think the Adventurer's Backpack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he actually wants to get to the point where he can cast spells, and I was like, well, if you want to, that's fine. I said, I'm not playing your character, so we can figure that out. We already I already know how to do it, but I actually like that the Ranger doesn't cast spells.
Me too. You know, and the CNC Ranger gets Combat Marauder. And so, for, you know, like going back to the giants thing, you know, Combat Marauder affects all giants, all humanoids. You know, I mean, that's a huge pool. And you know, when you're first level, okay, +1 damage, that's nothing. When you're 8th level, +8 damage every time you hit something,
I think he is
substantial.
Yeah.
So that you know, level. You're one-shotting lesser humanoids at that point. You know.
When he's not at a session, they're like, oh, we just lost one of our because he doesn't do a lot of range stuff. He does some, but he's mostly melee. And they're like, oh, they do have a fighter, but like now we only have one guy up front that's working.
We had the exact same thing happen. Tyler, the guy that was playing our Ranger, he was a great Ranger. He would frustrate the hell out of me sometimes because he was a halfling. He wore leather armor. He's like, guys, I am not I will run away before I get into melee combat. And I was like, you know, because I just don't like that. But he was playing his Ranger the way it should have been playing, so I can't hate on him for that. But man, the days that dude didn't show up, he had family obligations, or now he's moved away. We're like, not only have we lost our artillery support, that guy was putting out huge amounts of damage because we're always fighting humanoids. It was always orcs and goblins and then ogres and hill giants. And when he was gone, it was like, oh God, our odds have drastically changed because he's not here anymore. Yeah, CNC Ranger, man, I'm a big fan. The spells thing, though. You know, I played a 3.5 Ranger for years. I think my Ranger was level 24 when that campaign finally retired. So lots of spells. I enjoyed being a spellcaster with the Ranger. You know, Tree Stride and things like that was always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Ranger, as written in CNC, is balanced to not have spells. So if you change it and you start throwing in spells, and I haven't looked at the Ranger mods and the Adventurer's Backpack because I just don't really care for it. But if you start adding spells, unless you're taking something away, I feel like you're overpowering the Ranger.
He and I have talked about it. He even was like, yeah, I'm going to have to lose like one of my upper abilities.
Good on him.
Yeah,
that's a really mature way to look at it. I like that. That's cool. Yeah.
I think it might have been his improvement to favored enemy. One of the, because in CNC, the way it's written, what they do is they whack you for more XP cost to level up. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like it's already, and I'm not complaining. We all my group likes the slow leveling, but like how much more XP am I going to have, to add?
Yeah.
So he was like, I'd rather like lose one of my upper abilities than
then have to
get another 100,000 XP to level up. And I was like, well, I'm fine with that. Like
that was actually, I made a similar comment about that Sunday evening. I was playing a first level ranger. The two of the guys were playing higher levels, so that they kind of power level us. I'm not a big fan of that, but I refuse to play my cleric anymore. So here's who I got. I got a 4th level monk or a 1st level ranger. Who do you want going out with you? So I played the ranger. By the end of the night, I was level 3, and we killed a couple of hill giants. As a matter of fact, 6 of them, I think. And a hill giant plus. I don't even know what that guy was, but anyway. So we got a decent amount of gold, despite my god awful rolling. Ooh, it just never changes. And so as I'm sitting there, doing our thing, because Roger does 1 gold is 1 experience, and I made the comment, this guy has no aspirations other than to become more powerful. All of his gold is going to experience points. Whereas like I talked before about my cleric built a temple and a manor and blah 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 blah. This guy, he's not building jack. All of that money is going to leveling. That is all he's going to do.
Yeah, that explains it.
Yeah, there. Now I've just talked for almost 10 minutes straight. Now I'm going to mute myself and turn my camera off. I'll still be listening, but I've got to eat this.
Yeah, no problem.
Eat up, man.
No problem. So what I went through my stuff when I got home this afternoon to see what I had come in this week, game related wise, and I got a pile of stuff.
Yeah, so did I.
Just some stuff, because you get weeks where things just come in, and some stuff from drive through and some other things, and I had an order come in at Ravenswood for some stuff. So yeah, I got like a bunch of stuff, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. And it's interesting, when the Kickstarters show up, or like the drive-through orders show up, and I stopped looking at the emails or the tracking or whatever, because it's just gonna show up. I mean, unless I really am looking for it, but
yeah,
right.
But like I just have random Kickstarters that'll show up, and I'm like, it's like Christmas. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's in that box. It could be anything.
I love that.
And
excited about.
I got and I don't have it up here, but I've got an expansion to a board game that we got, Formaggio. It's about making cheese. I got that expansion in, and I added through the backer kit a bunch of other stuff, and there was this trick taking game. I think it's called 9 Lives, and it's like cat themed, but it's sort of like pitch, but it's it was really cool, and my daughter Chloe, she loved it. She loved playing it. So that's like my way of teaching her pitch or other trick taking games.
Called a trick taking game. Okay.
A trick taking game. Yeah. What'd you think I said?
No, that's what I thought. My Friday night group, sometimes if we don't get enough people to play whatever RPG we're playing, we'll just play games. A lot of times it's Cthulhu Death May Die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we did that one night, but then they broke out. I don't play card games. I just never really got into them. And they broke out this card game, and that's what they called it. It was a trick-taking game. And I was like, I have no frigging idea what
it's basically
doing.
Pitch. Yeah, you ever play Pitch?
Nope. I'm just throwing cards out, like pretending I was playing Uno, which was probably the last card game I played.
Yeah.
And I did 2 games of it, and then I was like, I think I'm good. It's just not where my brain goes. So, but
what game was it? Do you know?
Oh, I can't remember.
No, okay.
It was. I know that it was a card game. It was nautical based and color based.
Yeah, that's
Was it the crew?
It's co-op. It's cooperative, and you have
and you're not supposed to talk to each other. We did because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
That's
a great game.
Amazing, dude.
That's a great game. I played that with a group.
It's a great game if you're not a knucklehead
and
like me.
It's
true.
It's interesting because some people that play pitch.
Yeah.
They know. And it's funny, we had another couple come over, and we were playing that. And my wife and the husband were not lost, but they're just playing the game. But me and the other girl were in sync with knowing what was going on just from playing pitch enough, where it's like we knew, like you look around the table and it's like, okay, so now you throw the 9, like, and you throw the thing,
Yeah.
like, come on. And they're like looking at it like, how do you know that? And it's like, well, because
That's
we
me.
know
I
you don't
had no
have any of
clue.
this color and you don't have any of this, and you threw this the last time, and I have this. So therefore, your last, blue card is the blue 9. Like, they're like, what? Like,
Yeah.
it's like we're counting cards. Don't worry about it. Like, this is
Yeah.
it's
We're going to Vegas.
you gotta keep track. I mean, I can't count cards in a poker deck, but like playing like pitch or like a trick taking game like that, like I can, you all you got to do, you just figure out, just the math of like, what do I have? What's been thrown?
You lost me
what's
at
left.
figure out the math, because math is like not my subject.
Well, maybe that. Anyway,
I said I'm a knucklehead. Like I have no
game.
idea. Like
I
had fun, with them, but I was like, no, this is not the game for me.
I got a bunch of stuff, so I'm going to show one thing, and then we'll pass it to.
Before I'm sorry to interrupt. Before I forget, did I hear you say you have a cheese making game?
Yes, I do. And
why have we not played this yet? I want to play that game.
You want to come over for board games sometime?
Sure. I've made my own
Let me
cheese.
know when.
I love that, and I want to play that game.
It's cool. You get to age it and stuff, and it's the way it's designed is the like the more you age the cheese on the wheel, basically, that you turn it, the wedge of cheese is pointing in a specific direction. So it's pointing to the left or forward or to the right, and you can't get it back until it's pointing toward you. So like, and it moves a quarter turn each time. So like the stuff that's pointed to the left, those workers you get back, like it takes 3 turns for them to come back because the way it rotates. So that's like where like the better stuff is and things. And you're trying to like make cheese and then score like certain things. And then the expansion adds a wine thing to it that you're trying to pair.
He said cheese, but it sounds like math, Stan. I don't know.
Sounds math like to me.
You're making cheese.
The wine part I will probably not do well at because I don't.
No. We can play the base game. It's fun. It's a good time. Yeah. No, we'll do a board game night sometime. I'm all for it. I love doing that stuff. Yeah.
Christmas is coming. You and I are both gonna have some extra time off. So
yeah,
we'll
I love it.
Together. Cool. I'm gonna go back to muting and blacking my screen. But I'm still
listening. So yeah, and whenever you're ready to come back and show off some stuff, you're more than welcome to. So first thing I backed David Beatty's Weird Frontiers reference guide. That's the DCC Western.
I have that. I have the actual book. I don't have the reference.
Right. So he did a Kickstarter for the for like a reference book that's like the DCC reference book. I did not get the reference book yet. I think that's still in printing or whatever. But I got the I got like an add-on for a patch.
Oh, that's
which
awesome.
Obviously will go on my vest. Yeah. And there's a couple of D6s.
Oh, that's
one of them says Weird Frontiers. The other one has a kind of a skull cowboy, skeleton cowboy. I don't know. I'm sure it's
that's cool.
One of the classes, but that's cool. So I got a patch. As you guys know, I have my vest that's got a lot of patches on it. So I definitely got to find a place for that. That's there. So you got something you want to show off, Stan?
Sure. Today, actually, when I got home from working, this was in the mail. Coming in the mail. I got it off eBay. This is it's a Warhammer game, which I don't play the game, but I am going to be.
What is
I'm going to be playing Mordheim after the holidays. So these guys are like, I'm building a witch hunter warband.
Oh, cool!
And these guys are all themed that way. So I got these guys to round out my witch hunter warband. So that I literally just got that today in the mail.
I know you've been excited for that.
Yeah, I can't wait. I bought some other stuff which I'll get to because of that. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm super excited.
Ken, you got anything that?
I got 2 things, but I'm only going to show one. The first was I showed the Daggerheart Kickstarter I got of like the incredible creatures or whatever. The tarot cards for those came in, so the creatures on each card.
Oh, cool.
And I actually pulled those out to use in my home game, and they haven't come up yet, but I'm ready. They look pretty neat. And then Dolemwood just came into the local store, so this is just the player's book.
Cool.
Just the player's book. Like you said, oddly dimensioned, and now I can't unsee it.
You ruined it for him, Roger.
It is really neat inside. It's really well laid out, and I like it a lot. Even if I don't play it, I will probably steal a bunch of stuff from it.
There is definitely some stuff to steal from there. Yeah,
I heard the author is going to be coming to Dreamcastle to run one of these. So
really,
that's cool.
So I might, if he does, I might go get him to sign a copy.
Let me know. Let me know if you hear more about that.
Yeah, I will.
Because I would love to come down and talk to him about CNY and all of that fun stuff, and get my special edition copy signed.
Dreamcastle is a local game shop near us that is a friend of the con. Great guys.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Oh yeah, great guy. Husband and wife. They're absolutely fantastic. Great people to know, and the stores. The store's great too. So. They got a lot of cool stuff. So
that's my only show off thing. I'm gonna listen, but I got to go get some water. So I'm gonna
no problem. No problem
here.
So I picked this up. I saw this on I think on another stream somewhere, and I've got this weird thing for like the old like NES RPGs. Like Dragon Warrior and like Legend of Zelda and all that stuff. I love that stuff. So anytime I see some of this stuff, I really got to get involved. And this guy, JP Couvert, he does like art.
Yeah, he's really good.
He did this Asterland Odyssey, and it's basically a hex crawl it's basically this, and so there's book 1, book 2, Ruinous Voyage. It's got like locations and stuff on there. And then, a monster draws near, and it takes a lot from like the Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest if you played the Japanese version. And it's got this really, really cool kind of hex map that's in the old like NES kind of style, art. And it's really cool looking, and it's system agnostic, and it's just a cool little hex crawl, 3 little books. And I thought that was really fun. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I want to run it for a group or something at some point, but it's just really fun. I love the art. I think his art is really, really great, especially the, like the 8-bit, kind of art that he does and things like that.
He does some good maps too.
Very retro.
Yeah, it's very, very retro. I think it's really cool. Really cool looking. And so like this will be something that I run in probably a simpler system. Maybe Shadow Dark, who knows, but something, and I think I could probably get, I don't know, 5 to 10 sessions out of this at least,
nice.
Depending on how much. But yeah, so that came in this week. What else you got, Stan?
So I was at Crossroads earlier this week, and one of the employees there is the one that's going to show me how to play Mordheim. So he and I got talking, and I've been working on I have like a big chunk of my warband painted from miniatures I already had. Yeah. But I reading through the book and stuff, I'm like, well, I'm definitely going to want to create more than just one because there's so many cool options, right? So I'm like, I need another one, and I've always been partial to Skaven, who are the rat men. And so I'm like looking around, and again, Crossroad has a really good Warhammer section. So I came home with a box of these guys. These are rat ogres, which you can have one of these in a Skaven warband. And I got super motivated and even got one of them painted. So I got to finish the other 2. There's 3 in that box, but now I got to finish the other 2. But
that looks sick. That is
thanks.
Really cool.
That's awesome.
It was a fun one to paint. And yeah, so I got that too, which was a lot of fun.
That is awesome. I got an error here that wants me to click reload, and I don't know what that's going to do.
Oh, hold on.
It's a nice
Hold
knowing
on,
you.
yeah.
It's reloading the chat. It's reloading the
Yeah, I was
chat.
about to say everything seems to be fine. I wouldn't touch it.
It's reloaded the chat. I don't know what happened. I didn't get the something happened. Yeah. I saw Ken, I think, asked in the chat about the Dragonbane initiative system, and I saw it show up in the chat over here, but it didn't show up
earlier
in the chat on the screen. But I don't know. I don't know what happened because I don't see chat on the thing. Anyway, we'll figure that out I'll figure that out as we go. Yeah, okay, I can type in there, so that's fine. Yeah, anyway, what Jason, I see Jason chewing. What so whenever you're ready to show stuff off, let me know. I don't want to rush you.
No, I'm good.
You got something now? You're good?
Oh yeah, I just finished. I've been waiting a week to show this off, so I'm very excited by it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So my 10th anniversary of Elder Scrolls Online statue came finally.
Oh,
this is the diorama.
Look at that guy.
This is Molag Bal for those of you that are familiar.
Let me go. Oh, that's the wrong.
That's a great likeness. I'll give you that.
Sorry. I'm new to this.
So check out the freaking detail on this, man.
Oh, that thing's awesome.
Wow.
So I got
what is that? That's from some video game or something?
This is from Elder Scrolls.
Is that a romanceable option?
What's that, Ken?
No.
Is that a romanceable option?
It is not.
Oh,
okay.
This is only one part of it, though. This is the centerpiece. This is Molag Bal.
Oh, there's more.
Whoa.
Yes. No, it's Molag Bal or Old Moldy or Moldy Balls, depending on who you ask.
Wow.
This.
Okay, so a hero.
Is one of the heroes.
It's the
nice.
That looks great. And that's like what, 4 inches or so?
Yes.
The guy that looks.
Yeah, Old Moldy is about 8.5 inches, and the heroes are about 4 inches. There are 3 of them.
Cool. Okay, it's like a rogue.
Class of space system. So.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah.
She looks like she's getting ready to cast a spell, and she's got a sword, pretty typical for Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
That's if you watch any of their awesome cinematic trailers, those are the characters in the trailer.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And they do have awesome cinematics.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is why I'm just going to bring him to the table next time we play, because clearly
there you go. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
So I got this, and I got this on their Black Friday sale, the Bethesda store. It was like $340 when it came out, and I really wanted it. Like I said before, I would have more Skyrim stuff if they made more. They made more, but I was like, it's $340, man. I don't know if I could justify that. Black Friday, 66% off. Oh my God. It was like $110 immediately ordered, done. Yeah. Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
My Kickstarter for Blacklight came in. Yes, it's resin. Yeah.
Nice.
And
that's cool.
I was showing you the detail on Molag Bal. All of it is incredibly detailed. I'm super happy with the statue.
It looks it, yeah. This looks awesome. That looks awesome. Blacklight.
I can't wait to play this.
Yeah.
This is Blacklight. It is by the Scrying Dutchman, who I think is Dutch. He's from the Netherlands, I believe.
Yep.
Victor
Gorchov, I think Gorchov.
I don't know his real name. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know. I'm sure it's in here, but I don't have my glasses on, so I wouldn't be able to see it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's for Shadowdark. It's as you can see by the outfits here. It's modern for Shadowdark. I love modern stuff, and that's why I like Twilight, 2000 and things like that. So
and you're hunting the monsters.
Yes, you are hunting the monsters
and stuff, and they're appearing all over and things like that. And
I like that.
Like
so it's kind of like it's like Vaesen in that sense, except I think this is more combat oriented.
I was gonna say Call of Duty Black Ops, but
I wouldn't know
or something.
Yeah. Like a Delta Green is what it looks like,
or a Delta Green, like a modern day kind of Delta Green.
I like the idea of pursuing the monsters. We're no longer being victims of the vampire. Mm-hmm. We are eradicating them. And so I really like that. And it could be like Alien. Your squad could walk in and everybody's dead in 5 minutes. I don't know. But I love the concept. I'm a big fan of Kelsey Dion's Shadow Dark. So anytime that I find something that's a little bit interesting that'll fit with Shadow Dark, I'm all in. Roger actually told me about this one because I don't do a whole lot. Like, I don't follow anybody on Kickstarter. But Roger saw it and he saw the guns and he was like, you might want to check this out. So I did. And I was talking to Roger about this earlier. It wasn't, I looked at it, I was like, oh, these are great, but it wasn't so much, I was like, yeah, I want to use a Bearer, I want to use an M4. It was like, oh, these are accurate weapons. And I like the way that it's being handled and it fits into Shadow Dark. I'm like, oh, okay, this works really well. I like modern weapons to do modern weapon damage. Mm-hmm. I don't want someone to have, a 45 pistol and it does the same damage as a dagger. That's not accurate at all. So when you portray it accurately, I'm hooked. So I got it. The only thing that I don't like about it, and I have not opened the book yet, you'll still hear it creak, is it is standard book size. And this is funny to me because I just got back from a long day of driving and Roger and I were talking, and I said one of the things I love about Shadow Dark is it's like Morkborg. If you get a Shadow Dark sub game, they're all the same size. So I can put them all on my same shelf and everybody, I'm like, oh, look at my Shadow Dark collection. What the hell were you thinking, man? I will grant you that, it's a normal thickness of the book. So, if you shrunk this down into one half of its size, it would be twice as thick, or you would lose the art. And there is some pretty cool art in here. It's like, I'm going to get lost in this book if I look at it too much.
That's awesome.
So, there you go, random page. So you would either have, a book the size of a Bible or no art in it. So I'm fine with this, but it made me laugh because when I saw the package sitting on my desk, I was like, oh yes, I opened it up and I was like, the irony of this, because I was just telling Roger that I love how they're all the same size.
We're just talking about it. Yeah, that's interesting. That's cool though. That's cool. I'm glad you got it. Mine I don't think shipped yet. Mine has some other stuff in it that I also ordered because I have a problem when I go on drive-through and order stuff that I click on other things or I have other things in my cart that I'm like, okay, now's the time to buy these. Yeah, that's still there. Let's buy it.
That was me with Pendragon. Man, I have a whole bunch of stuff saved. And then I was like, I'm going to wait. And then they did that Pendragon Kickstarter and all the stuff that I thought about getting as part of the Kickstarter. I was like, boy, awesome.
Yeah. So I got from drive-through, this stuff came in. This is Alchemic Raker wrote both of these. This is the Old Lords of Wonder and Ruin, and it's kind of it's basically chainmail that's been kind of revamped a little bit. I think it's a little bit more streamlined, but it's basically chainmail, which is cool. And so I got that. I'm going to try that out. And then he's got another book here that is called Hell March. That's basically mass combat rules for like Shadow Dark and other OSR type systems. So that's kind of got some cool stuff in there about going against larger things and things like that, which is cool. I don't know. I like that stuff. I buy stuff like that all the time, and I try and incorporate stuff. Yeah. Gaming etiquette and addiction. Yeah, that's yes.
We support both on this channel.
Yeah, emphasis on addiction. Yeah. What Stan, did you get anything else, or
I got two more things?
Yeah. What do you got? Because I got I got three more, I think. So
well, I spent a lot of time at the game store this week, so I kept leaving with stuff. So again, today again, I was there all day working, so I left with a couple things. This being one of them. I grabbed Wandering Moria.
Awesome.
Moria. Yeah.
So did you not pass a Kickstarter?
I did not, and I regret it. And I needed this book, so I finally said screw it and picked it up.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem is you don't back the Kickstarter, and then you realize how cool all the stuff is that you got. And then when the next Kickstarter drops, no matter what it is, you're like, man, I got to back this because, I don't want to miss out on all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
But, we've talked about Free League a lot. It's right over my shoulder.
Yeah.
God, man, like a 95%
they put
success
some
rate
good,
to me. It's like,
okay,
I'm going to, especially, like with the one thing that we didn't like, the state thing, whatever, I've already forgotten it.
Electric State. I didn't mind the system. I just didn't like the book. That's it.
Yeah, I just didn't care for it, but it's still a good quality product. But if you're backing something for the Lord of the Rings, it's gold.
You're
going to be happy with it when you get it.
Yeah, I just cracked the plastic on this thing tonight, like, I don't know, probably a little over an hour ago. So I haven't looked at it too much, but just thumbing through it, it's unbelievable. So I can't wait to actually sit down and dive into it. Do
you guys know Glenn Hellstrom? He does he runs a lot of Gangbusters games, and he's on Thaco's Hammer. It was his podcast, and but he's on 10 Car Stream a lot and stuff, and he runs Gangbusters and like Ghostbusters at a lot of conventions when he goes. Well, he wrote a book finally. I've been telling him to write a book for a while. It's called When the Fat Orc Sings by Glenn Hellstrom. And I figured I'd pick it up because I like the guy. I don't know anything about the book really. But it came print on demand from Amazon. That's how that's how they're selling it. I picked it up and it came in the other day, and I'm hoping it's a good read. And hopefully I'll have good news to report on that front.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see. Yeah, no, we'll talk about it once I start reading it.
I will start reading my Blacklight then.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Hopefully, mine shows up pretty soon because I'd like to run. Unless you want to run it, whatever. But I would run like a few session, few session campaign or something like that after reading it. Stan, you got anything else, or was you
one thing? The last thing.
I got two more.
Again,
go ahead.
Came from Crossroads, and came home with this friggin' monstrosity.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the new Warhammer Quest. So the deal with this thing is, oh god, it's heavy.
Wow.
So there's a bit of a story. My buddy that owns that place, he's been kind of jonesing for like a good fantasy book. He keeps like picking these titles, and then he gets into it and realizes it's some nonsense romantasy thing, and he's like, what is this nonsense? So we were talking, and I was like, well, I told him I really like the Gotrek and Felix books because they're just fun, and I listened to them on Audible. They have one of the best narrators. They're great. Well, he started listening to them. He's like, dude, I'm really liking these. So this just released the other day, and I was in the shop, and he's there, and he's like, hey, do you have any interest in that game and maybe painting the models so we could use it as a demo in the store?
Oh,
and I was like, yeah, like I some of the models in here I actually could really use in my game. So basically it's my game. I'm going to paint it up. They gave me a hell of a discount on it, and then I'm just going to loan it back to them, and they can run demos with it. I'll actually probably go in and play some of the demos because I have somewhere that's in the other room. I have the original Warhammer Quest from like 1995, and I love that game. I've played it some, but I haven't played it in years. It's basically a role-playing game with a board. A modular.
I was going to ask, what is that? Is it like asymmetric tactical, or is it a full-on RPG?
No, it's like co-op dungeon crawl.
Yeah, so you typically you have
like Hero Quest. I don't know if you played Hero Quest,
and it's very
sort of based on that.
The original is very random. So you had these different quests, and you would draw, and it's got cards, and you would draw cards, and that would lay out as the dungeon went, but you would know what the objective is. You just wouldn't know when it was coming.
Yeah.
And you had heroes. They had a bunch of stuff for it, and the only thing they had two additional like adventure packs that I never got, which I wish I had. and then a bunch of like extra heroes. And I bought like 2 extra heroes. And I'm sure it's all online now, but it was a great, and what happened though was, as you played these adventures, from one adventure to the next, it was like a role-playing game, because you got experience points and you could level up your characters over time into the later adventures and stuff. And then they even had stuff in the books like later on about just going like full on like role-playing game with it. And then having played Warhammer Fantasy 2nd edition, the rules were very similar. It could easily dovetail, but it's always like my bucket list item for that game is to update all the miniatures with more modern miniatures, because they're a bit dated.
Sure.
And then make like actually 3-dimensional tiles and stuff, because it was a tile system. It was really cool and had good art and stuff, but like having an actual like tile, it would be neat. But yeah, this one mostly for the miniatures, although it'll be interesting to play. The miniatures are really cool. And one of the things actually I learned, and this sounds like a sales pitch for Games Workshop, but some of like the recent models that I got, like these guys here, they've really upped their game as far as like what they call push to fit. So like this one isn't 100% push to fit, but it is. It has pins and everything. I glued them together anyway, but this one, the Warhammer Quest Darkwater, right on the back. Oh God, this thing's heavy. Jesus, throw my back out. It outright says no glue, which we'll see. But I guess from talking to my friend Brendan, he said because of there's I don't do any of them, but like there's a model called Gundam. And all those models are
all snap, and
they all push together, and they're colored. You don't even have to paint them if you don't want to. And they articulate, I guess, and everything. They're super well done. So that's probably helps spur Games Workshop to up their game with their push to fit stuff. Like this guy here was all pinned and I glued him together, but like he was basically push to fit. And I was like, I mean, there was some parts you definitely had to glue, but I was shocked because I've had some of their other stuff from a few years ago that was push to fit, and it wasn't that great. I ended up having to glue them, but they've really lately, from what I've seen, upped their game and with that stuff. So that's my
cool
3-minute pitch on Games Workshop.
Cool. Awesome. That's cool stuff. Yeah, let me know if it's close to the old game or if it's
I'm sure it's
revamped or whatever.
I'm sure it's very different because none of them have been like that original Warhammer Quest, where it's like basically a role-playing game with a board, a dungeon crawler, as you will. The models in this are sick, though. They're awesome. Which Games Workshop does a good job with their models. I mean, people may hate the company, but their models are really good.
What would that thing run if you had to actually buy it?
I think it was like $255.
Wow.
It's got 49 miniatures in it.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, just the way you've grown moving it around, I can tell.
It's no joke. This thing's pretty stout.
It looks a good size.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
I'll probably their minis are top notch, definitely.
Yeah, they're fun. I use them for my role playing games.
Cool times. So I know some of you guys know this. I don't know if you guys out there know this. I play Magic every now and again. I usually play Commander. So I backed there's a company, Wizard of Barge. He does some very unique kind of style art, and I backed a bunch of his playmats. He did a playmat Kickstarter, and I got a handful of them in. So I got a couple of them here that I'll show the art on. Just really kind of cool stuff there. It's just really interesting art. And I don't know if you guys are into that. I know, I know you guys aren't, but I mean, everybody out there. And then this is a dragon that he did.
Oh, that's cool.
There. And it's just kind of really cool art, I think. But yeah, so I got 5 playmats from him. So I got to find time to play more Magic so I can use the playmats. But and then this showed up. This I ordered a long time ago from Al at Ravenswood, and it finally showed up. And some of you guys are going to love this.
That's great.
So, Mr. Potato Head Beholder, yeah, Jason loves it. And comes. I don't have the pieces. The pieces are on the other side of the table, but it comes with a bunch of things, that you can plug in and all of that. So I thought that was really cool, and I think he looks awesome. Does he look great? I mean, So anyway, I'm into like weird looking shit like that. I just love it. So that's the last of my show and tell stuff. So is that all we got this week? Is that all that came in?
That's all I got.
That's the first hour of the show. It's just bragging about Kickstarters.
There's like 3 people left watching this, and they're going
crazy.
When are they going to start talking about it?
Crazy. I know. Like, when are these guys going to get to it?
The meta lesson about etiquette.
So, well, it's funny. Some weeks, like, I won't get anything, and then other weeks, it just seems like they all show up. So etiquette in gaming, right? Wow. This is a big list for me. I started writing stuff down, and it didn't stop for like 3 days. I don't know. No, I tried to narrow it down to like the major stuff, right? And I know everybody's got some gripes and not just gripes, but like just things that people should be doing when you're visiting somebody else, or when and some of this isn't even really game related, right? It's like when you visit somebody at their house, just things that you should do, and that's kind of like the way that I went about it. And obviously there's a lot of gaming stuff in there. But I figured we kind of go in order, and you guys have kind of seen my outline, but the first thing I wanted to start with is scheduling, right? Scheduling the game. And so I figured we just go around and all say like one thing and talk about it for a second, for a minute, whatever. And until we kind of covered that and go from there. And one of my big things for scheduling is that I try and keep everything together in one place, right? For like my weekly game, I use a Discord, and I have a scheduling channel on the Discord, and it's really nice for me to be able to go in there and just look at that chat and say, oh, okay, I generally have a poll every week, so I know like who's coming or who's not. But I can go in there like every week and just look at it and say, okay, these people are showing up, these people are not showing up, and I know exactly who's coming and when. And occasionally people, like, instead of like voting on the poll or putting a thing in the chat, they'll like text me or mention it to me in another conversation, like, oh, I can't make it, in 2 weeks, or I can't do this. And then it's like, and then they don't have a thing in there. And then it's like at the last minute, I'm like texting them saying, hey, what are you coming, or what was going on? And it's like, oh, well, I don't know. Oh, I told you, I called you last week, and remember we were doing, and I'm like, I can't, like, this is why I set up the scheduling thing on the Discord for that. So like, if you're a player in a game and like the game master, I think, goes out of their way to like set up a thing to say, hey, here's, let us know if you're coming or not. Like, try to like do that the way that the game master, kind of has it laid out, and as early as possible, instead of waiting till like the last minute. So that was one of my scheduling kind of things. You just want to go clockwise, go to you, Stan?
Yeah, sure. Scheduling. I just tried it because my CNC group is monthly. We play twice a month, typically. And so we have a group chat on Facebook. That's what we use. I have a Discord, but only a few of the guys use it. And most of that was set up for like campaign stuff, although I could do a scheduling, but most of the guys half the guys would never see it. So we just use the Facebook chat. And I try to just give them as much notice as possible. Like, we'll play a session like, and then I'm usually thinking about what are the dates that are going to work for me next month. And I'll put them out and be like, these are the days I can do. And if I get a majority of people that can come that day, we play.
And that's, on that's one thing that Nabil is good at, is, and then I'll cover that later, but like with the scheduling thing is he's like sort of taking it upon himself to keep track of like the calendar of who's going to be available which weeks. And he's pretty good about going out like 6 weeks or so, and every few weeks he'll be like, okay, does anybody have anything going on in January that they want to tell us about or what, know, and whatever, so that we kind of have a running list. But Jason, scheduling, you gotta.
I like the way we do it.
Yeah.
Not everybody uses the Discord, and you know how I am. I'm a little picky about that sort of thing. It's no mystery about when we play. I've talked about one of our previous players that could just never show up on time. It was like a mystery to him on when we played. But I like having the. I like
every
having
week,
every week 4 to 8 at Roger's house every week. Where's the mystery here? But anyway, so I like having the thing on Discord. Vote yes or no, you're gonna be there or not. I've said before, if you're not going to be there, okay, you're not going to be there. I don't care. I don't want to hear your life story. I don't care who's sick at home. I don't care if your dog died. None of that is my business. Are you going to be here at 4:00? That is my business. That is the beginning and the end of it. Yeah. Other than that, man, I'm good to go. So I like the system that we have. It works. As long as everyone uses it, it works. Also, I'm a player. So if somebody doesn't let Roger know, hey, I'm not going to be there, I walk in at 3:00 because I'm always early. Roger and I go get lunch. We go hang out. And I'm like, so, how are we looking? And, because I look to see who's going. And if I don't see someone on there, I'm like, is he going to be here or not? And he's like, okay. So we'll see if he walks in the door at 3:55 or not. So
yeah,
we're good. Yeah. But I like the system. I think it works well. Good.
Cool. Ken, what do you got for scheduling etiquette?
At first I gotta say I care very deeply about everybody's dog and everybody's who's sick at home.
Yes,
not care less about that.
I actually do. I am interested in those things, but yeah, as far as like, I'm still figuring out. I've got a Discord. I've got the same setup, and I've got it set up so that nobody would.
You say that now.
Nobody can write into the scheduling chat. They can only give thumbs up. So I put the things in there and hopefully they say thumbs up or down, but I still have not gotten a commitment on that 100% yet. The one thing I'll say that hasn't already been said is if you're a player in a game, don't give a maybe when you know it's a no. And I know some players.
Yes.
Well, I think they think they're being polite.
Just tell me no, dude.
Oh, maybe okay. It actually is very helpful to hear no thanks.
Right.
I can't do it this week, or that's not the game I'm interested in, because now I can play in my encounters and I can, maybe I need to shift the game to a different day to accommodate a different player.
That's the thing. Yeah, that gets me too, because like I said, we use just Facebook Messenger, but anytime you look at a message on Facebook Messenger, it'll put on an icon that you've seen it. So it doesn't happen as much now. It used to happen more earlier in the campaign, but I'd put out a thing.
I didn't see it.
And then I would get like from some people, I would get like no reply, but I know they saw the message, and I'm like,
oh
if you tell me no, that's
yes,
fine.
no,
but or even like maybe I got to check to see that I'm not. Okay, but I would just get radio silence from some people, and I'm like, I have no idea. And other people would they would get like back to me immediately, like, yes, I can make it. No, I can't make it. And I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. But now some of them, I just be crickets, and I'm like, you sons of bitches.
And go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just had a little bit to add to that. And, because I had wrote down, be honest with your availability. and that kind of is on that same thing, and just my little add to that is like, and it kind of goes with the maybe thing is like, yeah, don't commit to something if you can't do it or you're not going to do it. And that goes for not just, hey, can you show up next week? But like, hey, I'm going to run this campaign every week for the next 40 years. Like, are you, you know what I mean? Do you have, are you going to be able to do it? And then it's
As long
like
as I'm
3
living in
weeks later,
Central
it's
New
like,
York, I'll
I
keep
can't do
showing up.
this every week. Like, well, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, so that kind of goes with the maybe, situation. And and like Paul's saying, like,
I do about the
maybe's
same,
a
Paul.
no. you got to count maybe as
Then
a
I'm
no.
pleasantly surprised if it turns into, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, great.
Yeah,
awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
I have
Show
one
it's a
player.
bonus.
I have one player that's he doesn't do that. He started off in the campaign, but like life is a thing, and his weekends are pretty packed. So he just made it to our session we had last weekend, but the last 2 times he's come, he's like picked up and played one of the NPCs, and he's happy to do that. Like he's like he gets a rare chance to actually play. So he's like, if you just have an NPC I can play, I don't want to. I don't want to put a new character in the thing and then just have him never get played. And I'm fine with that. I'm like, yeah, I'll have one kicking around that, if you can make it through a session, because same guy that I grew up playing role-playing games with, like since we were little kids. So I'm like, he'll always have a space at my table. So like, yeah, I'm like, if that's the only way you can come and play every once in a while, I get it. But his weekends are stacked. So like for him to have a rare weekend where he's available to come play with us, it's pretty rare.
Yeah. What else scheduling wise? We got anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of touches on what Ken and Ducato and I were talking about earlier. We were talking about Tyler's Ranger not always being able to make it. We tend to talk about what we're going to do this week inside the chat, inside the general group channel. Okay, what do you guys want to do this week? So if Tyler says, I'm not going to be able to play, cool. Okay, so now we know that our artillery barrage is not available. Or, if Nabil can't make it, well, he's our primary tank. So if he can't make it, we're going to need, we can still play. There's still plenty of fantasy stuff to do. But Hill Giants may not be an option this week.
Yeah,
maybe we've got to go do some investigative work, or we're going to, go chase down these orcs that we've let run, or we're going to play different characters, because all that works too. We now, most of us, I think, have a stable of at least 3. I know for a fact at least 3. Yeah. I've got 4 characters, so that's cool. But if you're just going off the assumption that everyone is going to show up, then I am planning on playing my high level guy back before I retired him. We're going to play these guys. We're going out on this quest. This is what we're doing. And then you show up and before the old game disbanded, this was a constant problem. We had a guy that, no kidding, 2 minutes before he's supposed to be walking in the door, he would message Roger, "Oh, hey, I'm gassed, man. I'm really tired. I'm not going to make it." What did you just now fall into a coma? This is a surprise for you?
Yeah. That's disrespectful.
And the 4 of us talked earlier, and we were like, this is not just going to be a bitch session. So I'm trying not to do that. But just let us know if you're going to be there. Cool. So that we can all plan on what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's part of the
and last minute things happen. Last minute things do come up. And,
sure,
and
of course.
Yeah. But when it's constant, constant thing, it's that's,
and it was a constant thing with that guy.
Yeah. Right. Scheduling. Ken, you got any other thoughts on the scheduling?
I think we've said everything. Yeah.
Stan, you're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. I guess Jason was he said something last. So Ken, you want to start off with pregame prep? You got anything on that list?
As far as like etiquette for pregame prep?
Yeah, just etiquette. Yeah, sure.
That wasn't one of the categories that I wrote my notes on.
It was. I know I sent that one out late, didn't I?
But I do have one of these notes falls into that category. I think that I've made this mistake as a GM, and it's something I watch out for now. But if you have told people that you're going to be playing this style of game, and you get excited about another style of game, you should not prep that other style. You should prep we said we were doing a dungeon crawl. Then when they show up, they should play a dungeon crawl. You can do a little twist or whatever, but you should not then be like, just kidding, we're going to be on a spaceship. Your guys are going to start out with laser. Like, well, that wasn't really why I showed up today. I committed to the dungeon crawl. So that's my.
What if the spaceship is the dungeon?
It's got to be really well done. I mean, anything's a dungeon, right? But I think if you were like, I'm coming.
I think what you mean
if I told you
everybody shows up for a fantasy game and they show up with the barbarians and rangers and clerics and wizards, and the first 5 minutes of the game they fall through a wormhole and now they're in the modern, they're in modern day New York City.
Yeah. We talked about me running a Fallout game, right? And if you showed up and I was like, instead of Fallout, I'm going to do Far Cry 6, because I think that was on.
Oh boy,
the game that I specifically trashed on.
Yeah.
Clip the table and out of
about
here.
It.
You could have picked 3, 4, or 5, and I'd have been happy. No, you got to go with 6. I'm out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No. I definitely agree with that. Definitely. Yeah. Run the game you said you're going to run. Yeah. Or whatever. Right. No, I get it. Yeah. Paul says, welcome to Riffs. Yeah, that's exactly
pretty much.
Riffs. Yeah. Anything. Yeah. But that's the, right. That's on the 10, right? Like for Riffs, like if you're going to play a Riffs game,
you know what you're getting into.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Anything's possible.
Yes.
Right. But yeah. So yeah, pregame prep, like my stuff as far as like etiquette and stuff, and this goes for GMs and players, is like know the rules. Like I get everybody's like new, and or not everybody's new, but you have new players, you have people that are new to like running but like open the book, flip through it, go on YouTube and just look at like a tutorial of the game. Like try not to show up to the game and not have a clue, what's going on.
I embarrassed myself so badly last week. Not last week, 2 weeks ago. We were all playing first level characters, and I think it was I don't remember who. Maybe it was Nabil. But he only had like a +1 to hit total, and I was like, I can see your strength's a 13. That's a +1. Why don't you have a +2? And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, your base to hit is a +1. He said, no, it's 0 at first level. And I was like I could feel myself turning red. And I was like, and I looked at my ranger because I've got a +1 in BTH because I know CNC so well. I didn't bother to look. +1, obviously, first level +1. Oh man, like I can feel myself blushing now. I was so embarrassed by that. So that's why you're talking about know the rules. I know the rules. I mean, I've been playing CC for a long time. I know the rules. Just because you know the rules doesn't mean you shouldn't look at the book, man. Because I felt like a serious jackass.
Skim through the book and
and that was a +1. That was a minor thing, especially when I'm on 5s all night, but whatever. But still, I was like, oh,
it doesn't matter.
This is freaking awful. I felt so bad.
Stan, what do you got? Anything for pregame?
Pregame, like getting ready and stuff.
Getting
like
ready.
On the GM end, obviously you gotta make sure your stuff's in order, right? Like your game's ready. I mean, I never feel like I'm ready, but like I've gotten to the point where I'm like, there's enough here that I can run this session. But I think that's important though, because you have guys, people coming to your house wherever you're playing, and they're relying on you to run a session, and they're spending that time, so it shouldn't be wasted. So I always try to, I always want to put out the best game that I can.
Good prep and like read the module ahead of time, and I
got my session notes in order or whatever, and we do some logistical stuff too, like. We get together a little bit before we start, and I get pizzas from down the street, and we eat pizza and shoot the shit and catch up because we're all friends, but we don't get a chance to just hang out. So and I do that. I started doing that to be able to do that, and then with also the hope of like maybe some of that non-game commentary would not be happening during the game now, because we were able to do that for like an hour before we started playing. So, and it's worked to some degree. Obviously, it's there's room for improvement, but I think it has worked. And and then on the GM end, I'm just making sure like where we play is cleaned up, because sometimes I'll build stuff over there and there's fucking scraps of insulation foam and hot glue and nonsense everywhere. Try to make sure that's cleaned up.
I want to give a shout out to my wife, who I think is listening. I'm not the only one who doesn't want people BSing during the game.
Oh yeah,
it's not just me.
Yeah, right.
We're here to play the game, not talk about our lives.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Once we start playing, we should be playing.
It's hard. We end up, like Jason and I, like he said, he normally shows up early and we'll grab something to eat and we'll talk. And I generally allow it for like the first 20 minutes, half hour into the game. So we start at 4, so like 4 to 4:30. And, and then I try and like cut it off and go. And I'm not as hard on people as I should. I know that. But yeah, I think I do that. And I think that kind of helps. Like you said, Stan, like it gets, everybody hasn't seen each other in a week or whatever. And they can say, hey, did you see this trailer or this thing or this show or whatever. And it lets people do that instead of like them thinking about it in the middle of the game. And then, and then the game derails. So yeah, that's, yeah. Let them get it out.
That was a real problem before one of our players couldn't join us Sunday anymore. He's a great guy, and if he ends up seeing this video, dude, you're a great guy. Make no mistake about that. I enjoy your company. I am mostly deaf in my left ear, so if you were sitting to my right and you were talking to me, I cannot hear what is going on at the table. And when I'm playing a character like Yohai, my cleric, I have to see and know every single thing that is going on at the table, because Yohai was the general of the group. I directed the combat. I made sure everybody was healed. I told people not to do dumb stuff. If you're talking to me, that even if it's game related, if it's the middle of combat, zip your lips, because I have got to focus on what I'm doing. And that's part of the reason why I got into the habit of standing. As soon as something would pick up, I would stand up so that I could look down the table. And the other guy that's sitting to my right, he wasn't going to stand up. So I wasn't close enough to him for him to lean over and start talking to me. But even like I said, even if it's in game, when we're not in combat, okay, fine. But I still want to hear the narration. But out of game chatter, shut your freaking mouth. Because man, everybody knows it, and like I can see edgelords laughing right now. I'm like, man, I am so serious about this game, and that's why when 4 o'clock, when I'm pointing over here because Roger has a clock that's up here at his house, when that ticks over to 4, my dice are out. I'm ready to play. I don't want to hear anything else. Just like Ken, I don't want to hear it. Let's play. So, but I always want to. I want to hang out with you guys. I want to talk to everybody. So just come earlier and chat, man. I'm totally happy to listen to you about your day.
Yeah. Show up early and chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it out of your system and let's go. So, yeah. And actually, I forgot what the question was.
We're talking about pregame.
Okay.
Pregame prep.
I have some stuff to say about that, but I'm going to pass to Ken, or he's not going to get to go. So,
Ken, go ahead, Ken.
My last thing, I think it's touched on a little bit. If you're a player by session 4, please know how to play your character.
By session 4,
it's on my list too.
You don't need to memorize the rule book. Like the GM probably needs to know more of the rules and your character if they're doing a really good job. But if you don't know what advantage and disadvantage are a year into your 5e game, maybe rethink what hobby you're in. And I say that lovingly with some people in mind that are like, wait, do I get sneak attack here? It's been 2 years. You should know the 2 conditions under which you get the sneak attack. But yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, that's it. 4 sessions. Please know how to do your one character.
I don't want Ken. I want to say like so much to that, but I feel like I would just repeat everything you just said. And
it's like
I love
thing,
your
right.
By session 4. Yeah.
I get it. Like
that's
if walking in blind first
Sure.
session, which die do I use?
Sure.
Just
First
take a
session,
little.
you're figuring it out. Second
you're gonna
session, you're
play,
kind of feeling out. You got it figured out.
Mhm.
Third session, that's the gimme session. Should
Yeah.
have it
That's
figured
the
out,
freebie.
but okay, that's the buffer. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, okay, session 4, is this for real or what? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, session 4.
Yeah, and
That's gonna go into my rules.
That's the thing too with like different systems and stuff. Even though we have it in CNC, it came up when we played on Saturday. I mean, granted, it was the first time that player had been playing this particular character, but he's like, "I'm going to do this," and I'm like, "Well, how does that work? Is it is it obstructed by anything?" He's casting detect evil. He's like, "No." Well, part of the problem is like the rest of us in the group, with the exception of my son, he's got like 3 or 4 editions of this game in his head, right? So he's like, "Oh no."
Yeah, that's right.
But then we actually took the time because I'm like, I'm pretty sure that works this way. So I actually looked it up and I'm like, okay, you're not affected, but it is affected by like obstacles in front of you. Like you can't, it's just not a blanket thing. And so I agree. It's on my list. What Ken said, like as a player, like you don't have a whole lot to do or to focus on other than your character. So just know your character and what he can and can't do, his spells, how they work. Even if you have to print out like a cheat sheet, that's fine. Like, I don't expect people to memorize the book, but have that information. Like I'm going to cast, whatever. I'm like, this is how it exactly works. Like it does this, this, and this,
And that's something that Joe did. Is Joe playing a druid? He print out like the pages and then like cut them out. I don't know if he had them laminated or double laminated or something, but he had, so he's basically got spell cards, that I think he laminated or something, but yeah, he's got them like out. So then it's like, there they are. Yeah. So you kind of have the basic, this is how the spell works. Yeah.
And that's so important when you're playing a spellcaster. A melee is a melee. Whether you're playing knight, paladin, fighter, or ranger, you know what you're going to be doing. You're going to be rolling a d20. If it's high enough, you're hitting.
Yeah.
If you're a spellcaster, then for in my eyes, especially cleric or wizard, because there is so little leeway for error in those two classes. With a cleric, if you don't know what you're doing, party member's going to die. If you're a wizard, you might kill your party on accident, or blow your load in the first 2 rounds, and then when it really matters, you don't have a spell left. So it's really important to learn those, so that when you sit down at the table, you can be useful and effective.
Yeah.
So so that whole learning your character thing, and and Ducato just about, especially with new systems. Sunday we started playing Sentinels. I know nothing about this system. I made my character 2 weeks ago, and by the time we sat down to play, I had already forgotten the skills that he was doing. So I kept having to ask during the game, how many actions can I do around? What R means reaction. Okay, I can do this. But we kind of treated that as a session 0. And in fact, our handler ran us through a mock combat thing, which I thought was really cool. It was like the ready room, whatever it's called in the comic books, doesn't matter. And I was like, okay, cool. We're learning how to fight. So this is cool. But next week I won't have to ask those questions. Now I know how to play my character, so I'm good to go. But if something oddball comes up and I ask questions, there's no shame in not knowing the rule book. Right. But you should have a general idea of what you're playing when you sit down to play. You've chosen to play the wizard. It's a complicated class. It is on you to learn how to play. Feel free to ask questions, but just don't freewheel it, because then it's detrimental to the rest of the party, and that's just terrible.
Right.
Yeah. Know your role.
That's right. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Before it goes away completely and I forget, Edgelord asked a question earlier. Can I address this question? It'll be
quick.
What
about getting you in the game?
No. But thank you. I accept. He wanted to know, because we mentioned the stable. I mentioned the stable of characters. His question was, like in Dark Sun, when one guy levels to the all level. In our campaign, the answer to that is no. However, as we've talked about, we do spend gold. 1 gold piece equals 1 experience point. We have had players that have given a pot of gold to some other character for whatever reason. I frown upon that. I don't like that. In what world are you going to walk up to a complete stranger and be like, here's 10 grand, spend it however you want, pal?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't like that. We had a player whose every freaking character was related to him. Oh, this is my sister. This is my cousin. This is my 18th cousin. Okay, look, dude, please stop. So my personal take is that all of my characters, they probably know each other in passing because Turtletown, our base, is fairly small. So we all hang out at the tavern, so we've met. But Yohai does not give gold to my ranger or my monk or anyone else. They level up on their own, and that for me, that will never change. I do not like that. So anyway, so that was the answer to your question there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I missed that. Thanks for bringing that up.
Sure.
Ken, what else you got for pregame? Anything?
That's it for pregame.
Yeah, good. Nothing else that the players should have done by session 4?
Not that comes to mind.
No, we kind of covered most of the stuff that was on my list. I wrote down to make sure that the character sheet's updated, things like that. Like I'm not a big fan of people like, leveling up at the table. Like do that ahead of time. Do it at the end of the session. And most of our players, I think, are good at that. For the most part. And if you need to buy things, if you need to buy rations or like basic equipment or whatever, do that before the game. Do that in the chat. Do that. Hey, or really quick in the beginning. I know there's some guy, hey, really quick before we get started, listen, we're going to buy this armor. We're going to do this. We're going to grab that. That's fine. Right. And then that's not what I'm saying. But if you're going to spend a half an hour, more even, of everybody's time, going from shop to shop, trying to haggle with the, with the sales clerk about buying, silk rope, 50, you know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Come on, you do that beforehand. Let's, let's just do a quick thing. And we in our games, we don't really have that issue. I don't think we have.
Yeah, we don't either in mine.
But it's something to be said. Pre-game, Stan, you got anything else for pregame?
No, I think that's it.
Ken, are you out? I know Jason's got a whole list, so
I'm good. Pre-game,
you're good.
Yeah,
so it's on you, Jason. What do you got?
Cool. First, edgelord, no. Whatever character you're playing, that's the one that gets the experience points. He's the only one, unless you give gold to the other guy and he buys it. That's what I was referring to. So no, whoever's sitting at the table, they get the experience points. For me, as a player, my prep is make sure my character sheet is ready. If something, if I've got a new important item, it's like everybody scribbles on their character sheet, pen, pencil, whatever it is you feel like using. Don't use a pen, for God's sake, use a pencil. But the first thing I do when I come home on Sunday evening, and my wife will even look at me and say, "You're going to go in your room and update your character sheet?" Yes, I am. I go into my room, turn my computer on, update my character sheet, print them out, put them in my bag. I've got my satchel sitting right here. Everything I use to play is in that bag. It sits right there. And when I get ready to walk out the door at about 2:30, I grab it, put it over by the door so I never forget it. The character the player with all the bad habits that we've talked about so many times before he left the group, he forgot his character sheet at least 3 times. And that used to drive me freaking crazy. He'd forget his book, forget his dice, forget his pencil, forget his character.
Well, he'd leave his book here half the time.
Yeah. But so why isn't your character tucked into the book? What are you doing?
Which is so weird. Yeah.
But again,
that's just a life thing, I think.
Right? But I'm not trying to turn this into a bitch session. I keep having to pull myself back from that. Just as a player, you are obligated to be prepared to play when you show up. Key to that: if you forget your dice, you forget your dice. That happens sometimes. Your character is you, so you've got to bring your character sheet. Unless this is something I talked to Roger about a lot. I studied Yohai so much that I could leave my character sheet at home and I would know what he could do. And I'm certainly not alone in that. Many players do that. The guy that forgot his character sheet so often, I knew his character better than he did. So if he forgot, I'm like, You have a +4 to hit. You have 28 hit points. You have an armor class of 19. Sit down and let's play. And he was like, oh, okay. It was so frustrating. But yeah, just be prepared to play. You're a player. All you got to do is show up and play. So just bring your stuff with you and have a good night.
And that goes back to more than just, being prepared for yourself, because when you're not prepared for yourself, you're wasting everybody else's time. Like, you're infringing on that time.
Boy.
So, and as adults, it isn't like we're kids, right? Yeah, so kids, you could play all freaking weekend 24/7 or whatever.
Right.
As adults,
4 hours.
Yeah, that time is pretty precious. So come prepared to play, and that's
before the guy left the group, was asked to leave the group. We had a big blow up with almost all of us on him because he forgot his character sheet again, and Roger was like, "Here, I've got a character. Just play it." Or one of the people did, and so we started playing it, and he started pitching a fit about not being able to make a new character, and Roger was like, I am not going to hold the group up for 30 to 45 minutes while you figure out your new character.
Yeah. He showed up half hour late too.
Right. You were late. You don't have your character. We are not waiting for you. And that was really the end of him. But that's, so, that just goes back into what Kato was saying. The group is not waiting on you. It's really immature to expect to be able to walk in the door half an hour late and be like, okay, hang on, everybody, let me get ready. No, dude, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
So I separated out host and guest from GM and player. And I did that because it's not all the time that the GM is hosting and that the players are a guest. I know that's the normal thing. But so I kind of separated my list from, that standpoint of, so like most of the stuff on the host and guest list is, stuff that is maybe not necessarily role playing, related or whatever. There are some stuff in there. But just stuff that's, general, I guess, etiquette when you visit people. I don't know.
Yeah.
The first thing, like, to anybody that's a guest in somebody's house, and I try and stress this at the beginning of any campaign during like a session 0 or whatever, and just you be mindful that you're going into somebody's house and it's their house. That's their, quote unquote sacred space.
It's their
it's where, right. It's where they live. And so, they're letting you into their castle. Right. So like, try to be, respectful of their stuff, their property, their things. Wipe your feet. You know what I mean? Ask if you should take your shoes off. If it, especially if it's like the weather is now or whatever. Now, obviously the guys that show up to my game room, I got hardwood floors and stuff. I'm not asking people to take their shoes off and stuff in here. But if I had a white, thick, rug or whatever on the floor, like I would, and somebody just came in with their boots on, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be pissed, but so like, you got to be mindful of things like that. And that's like my first kind of thing that's on the list. And there's a lot more, but I want to see what you guys got, or if you guys, have anything about that. But Stan, what do you got? If you want to comment on that,
I had mostly that stuff too. Like I have in my margin here, like pick up your trash. Like again, like Roger said, be mindful of you're in someone's house, right? So, and I get it, but like I'm always finding like empty soda bottles, and like on the way out where they have to go, because we play in the basement, my recycle can is right there. Yeah. They have to walk by it. I'm like, just throw your stuff in there. There's a trash can on the way. Just throw your stuff in it. But I'll find stuff, and I'm just like, Jesus.
I lost my mind a few weeks ago. I don't know. There was, and he's good about cleaning stuff up and all that. But I looked, I smelled like, grease, like the fast food grease.
Oh, I know who the guilty party is.
And there was like, I don't know if it was McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever. And there was a soda that was half full.
McDonald's.
and it was McDonald's, and there was a burger still in the bag, like,
Yes.
and they just
We
left
definitely
it
know who
there.
the guilty party is.
And I was like, and I think I went on the Discord, and I was like, okay, guys, look, everybody has got to pick up their shit. Don't leave cans and food and uneaten stuff. Throw the thing, like, there's a garbage. There's always a black bag there, like one of those big 55-gallon thick, heavy garbage bags I got. And it's like, come on, guy. And everybody was like, wait, what happened? What, did somebody leave something? And then the culprit was like, oops, that was me. Sorry.
Yeah, we know it was you, dude.
but yeah. So like I can't imagine, and I've seen it, and not just at my house, but I've seen it at other people's houses and things where people will, they'll drink a soda and they'll just leave a can of, an empty can of soda on the game table, and they just walk out.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? And you question them, and well, I didn't know what to do with it. Well, yeah, but like,
take it with you.
Is just leave it on the table and walk away? Is that the answer? Like, yeah, edgelord. That too, edgelord. That's a good one that I did not have on my list. If you're sick, stay home.
Stay home. Yeah.
Yeah, God, please don't.
Yeah. That happened to me at the game store I ran. Somebody was just I had 2.5 hours of somebody sneezing directly onto my notes.
Yep.
Like, oh my God.
This should have been not happening.
Yeah.
We did not need you here. You didn't need to be here.
Yeah.
Like I did that at MEPA, the first MEPA that Roger and I went to.
Oh my God.
I had just come back from visiting my mom in New Mexico. I got sick at the airport, but I felt okay when as we were driving to MEPA. And as we were at the table, playing already, and it was a 4-hour game. And like the first hour, I was like, oh, I've got a little scratch, no big deal. It happens, con crud. By the 4th hour, I was dying. Like, oh, okay, this isn't good.
That's different.
And then, so then I went to the room to try and sleep it off. And then I went to the game, 5 hours later, and I sat at the table, and I was like, and
you were at the table for like 2 minutes. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I didn't want to spread my plague. And this was still, COVID was still going on. And regardless of what you feel about it, I was like, I don't want to make everybody at the table sick. And so I was like, George, I'm not going to make this, man. I'm going to go to bed. And so that was my con experience, man. I got one game in, and I spent the rest of the time in the hotel sleeping, passing it off to, I think I infected George. I think I infected Cyrus. I know I infected Roger because he was my roommate, and it doesn't help if he keeps the room at 42 freaking degrees. But
no comment.
But yeah, that's the big one. The whole sick thing. It like Ken said, the first time I was at the table, that's different. I didn't really know I was sick. The second time, I knew I was sick, and that's why I bowed out. You especially at a con, you paid to be there. There's some expense involved, but just remember what you're doing. Yes, crud is crud. Yeah, exactly. Yes,
crud is crud. Yeah,
and nobody wants to leave the con sick. But the same applies with, these are your friends. You play with them every week or more often if you're lucky enough.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk in and make Roger sick or Ken sick. Yeah. That's terrible. And especially like if I walk in, I'm like, I don't feel good. And then 3 days later, everybody's sick. Gee, who could it be that did this? Which asshat was it? Oh, it was Jason. Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah. So that's terrible manners. Yeah. Good call on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. What, Ken? What do you got for host or guest?
I'm gonna flip the script just a little bit.
Sure.
So I heard everybody talking about, obviously don't leave your cans. Obviously take off your shoes. Yeah. But I don't think everybody has the same thought process about that. Like, where I grew up in Texas, the shoes thing didn't exist. I had never heard of that until I moved up here. So the flip I'm doing here is if you see one of your house rules that isn't being violated or that isn't being respected, just bring it up with that
Oh yeah,
person
definitely.
respectfully
Yeah.
and make sure that you have set the expectations. Because not every, the can on the table thing, not every, I know that seems obvious, but not everybody would think this is a big deal to this guy. Maybe they just think, hey, this is part of the normal cleanup. That's what we do with my guests at my house. I have a house party and I clean up everything after the house party, whatever. So yeah, set the expectation if you're seeing it violated. I think most people want to respect
Yes,
the
certainly
host
true.
of the game.
Yeah.
So that'd be my etiquette tip.
I just want to comment on this and say that Central New York RPG Con will not be responsible if anyone gets sick playing a board game.
With me specifically.
with Jason specifically. If he's sick and you know it and you're going to play a board game with him, don't come back at me.
He'll risk it for Talos there. Respect. Respect.
Okay, I just had to throw that see? See?
Joe,
he's so
thank you for your service.
You can be late to the party, man. Just don't be late to the game.
Yeah. You're good. You're good for now, Joe.
Yeah, this time of year we will forgive you because we know what you're going through. We understand.
Yes. Yeah, right. Carry on, soldier. No, thanks for showing up even late. It's good to have you. One of my things with the host thing, and this is something that I am not the greatest at. But if you're going to host a game and host people at your house, clean the bathroom.
Yeah.
Now,
you're going to have some lunatic like me that can't handle a dirty bathroom.
Now I'm going to say my bathroom, the floor's dirty. It's under construction up here, right? So this is a separate apartment that's upstairs from where I live, and the game room is finished, but then the rest of it is still kind of under construction, and so there's like an open ceiling. You can see the rafters in the bathroom, and the sheetrock is still on the wall. Sheetrock's on the wall; it's not painted and stuff, and so I got to do a drop ceiling, and there's been construction and stuff going in and out. I don't mop the floor. I definitely should. I know it's bad. I do try and clean the toilet once a week, so that doesn't get, grody. Yeah. But I know I'm lacking in general, bathroom maintenance, and hopefully, at some point the bathroom will be done. But I've seen a lot worse bathrooms than mine.
My favorite part of that is we have a couple of players who don't understand bathroom etiquette. And they will just leave the whole thing up. Now, I have cats, so I close the lid at my house. I close the lid because I don't want the animals going into the toilet for whatever reason. And Jean, Roger's wife, hates the lid being left up. It was so bad that she had Roger print a sign that says, "Please close the lid," and taped it up, to the back. People will still leave that lid up. I walk in and go take a leak, and I'm like, some people you just can't help.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy. Yeah, I put the sign on there. I've said things to people about it, and it's like just close the lid.
And we all use it. So someone will go in and see the lid up, and they'll immediately come back out. Who lit the lid up? And it's like everybody eyes the guy that just walked out of the bathroom, and it's always the same guy.
It's been pretty good now. I think it's been recently. I think because people we've been calling people out on it, so it's like okay. But that's like a thing. Like I've been to some people, and I don't think anybody I've played with now, or houses I've been game with now, but in the past, I remember going to some places, and even some game stores, where you go and play, and it's you go in there, and it's like, man, if you got to sit down, I'm like, oh my God. I don't know how you do it. I wouldn't be able to do it,
Hover.
Hover, right. It's hover. But man, So yeah, you definitely got to, do that, so that's big on my list. And like I said, that's one of the things that I kind of fall behind on, that I gotta step up my game on.
I'm lucky there. My Kelly will always do a really spectacular job. I mean, I'm helping, but she's the detail
Yeah.
person
And
between us,
and
and
Gene will
we'll
do that
take care of it.
downstairs, but up here, this is kind of like, no, that's
This is
yours. I
Roger's
don't handle
domain.
that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the clubhouse.
that's yeah, right. Like, no, that's yours. That's no. And if I asked her, if I said, hey, can you, can you scrub the floors and clean the toilet? I mean, she would. She's, and fantastic. But we've got 2 bathrooms downstairs. She takes care of those. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to. What is this? What is this, Paul?
Yes.
Some of these
It was one of the things I was
pull
going
up
to
your
talk about.
toilet after a White Castle binge.
Yeah.
By the time to reverse the
Host,
people,
please clean your
the kids
toilets.
can have a
Guests,
party.
please mind your manners.
I think that's chaotic evil, Paul.
Yeah.
I'd skip neutral, go right to evil. What? You're invited.
That's her.
Oh,
That's
that's
Kelly.
her. That's Kelly.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't know. I was like, wait, who's this?
You're
Come
welcome to
over.
come
You're
Sundays,
invited.
it sounds
Play.
like.
Yeah.
Well, Joe said he'd do it for XP, so.
Yeah, I'm not going that far.
Not worth the XP.
Not worth the XP. No, not worth it. Maybe we'll see. We'll see, Joe. How much you want? So yeah, I got some more stuff, but I don't know kind of where we left off. What do you got, Stan, for host or guest etiquette?
No, that was on mine too. Make sure the bathroom's clean.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good one. That is a good
Good.
one. Are we gonna do like in-game?
Yeah.
Okay.
In-game stuff is
player
next. That's gonna be the
speculative
GM player stuff. Yeah.
That's right.
I got a couple more host things. Jason.
Joe, you're crazy. You want 5,000 XP to clean the bathroom. That's
It depends on the toilet.
Yeah.
Of course, in CNC, that'll only get them so far.
Right.
Once
Congratulations,
you
you're
get
second level.
It's not going to matter. Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
About $5,000.
Matt, thanks for joining us, Matt. Jason, what do you got for?
I have a couple. I have one for the host and one for the players.
Yeah.
The host thing. I am terribly allergic to dogs. Some dogs not so much, but shaggy dogs, shepherds. If I see a German Shepherd, I will break out and I can't breathe anymore. But that's the only part of the story. But I'm a guest. I will never tell the host, you got to put your dog away. That's out of line. I will let them know I'm really allergic. As long as Fido doesn't jump on me, I'll be okay. I'm going to suck down some Benadryl. I got to wash my face a lot, but I'll be fine. My third tour in Germany. God, was it my third tour? It doesn't matter. The host was, we were all soldiers. We all lived in the barracks. One of the players was a civilian married to a soldier. And so we played at his house because he was the only one that had a house. So, we all went over to his place. They had a German Shepherd named Chaos, and he was Chaos personified. Okay. We had been back from, our tour in Iraq for like 3 weeks. So all of us were like really keyed up still. We would be sitting there playing and Chaos would be under the table, and he's a shepherd. So, if a mouse farts 400 yards away, he freaks out. So, he and all of us, the 4 guys that had just come back were like, and like the rest of the night, we're like, just like keyed up because this dog won't stop that shit. So just, if you're hosting, this starts to encroach on the touchy-feely stuff that I really don't like. But at the same time, I don't want to spend the next 4 hours at your house waiting for an IED to go off my head because the dog won't shut the hell up. So that was really important to me. And I finally talked to him about it. He was very cool about it. He understood, and so the dog stayed in another part of the house after that. So it was fine. But I mean, that was a really big deal at the time.
Yeah.
As a player or as a guest, um, it is important to know your place as a guest. And this is about me. I broke this rule. Um, your host family members have the same weight and importance as the host. You have no right as a guest to tell the family member to leave the room or to shut up. I did this. I'm using this example as what not to do. And I did it at Roger's place. We were playing one night and we were in the middle of combat. And this is why it happened. We were in the middle of combat. His daughter came up and she was talking to Roger about something. And I have very little patience for that at all. And I'm working on it. I know it's a problem for me and I'm working on it. But Chloe came up, she started talking, and one of the other people at the table had, said something, basically like, Chloe, you're interrupting. And Chloe said, well, you're interrupting me. And then I snapped. I said, nobody's listening to you. How about you leave so we can finish what we're doing? This is Roger's daughter that I'm talking to. This is not an adult. This is a child speaking to her father. I have no right to say that kind of stuff. Me doing that, immediately I embarrassed myself, because as soon as it came, I didn't mean for it to come out, but it came out because I'm a little high strung. So I immediately embarrassed myself. Everyone at the table is looking at me like I'm a lunatic. And now Roger's embarrassed because his daughter is very upset because I just pulled her head off. So now Roger's in a bad place because I put him there. Chloe's in a bad place because I put her there. Chloe's going to go downstairs and Jean is going to see that Chloe is visibly upset. What is going on? I'm a welcome guest at Roger's house. That kind of thing. If I'd been some new guy that was there for the first time, I'd have never been invited back. So I spent the next 2 hours waiting for Roger to pull me aside to say, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, sorry. I try not to curse on this. What are you doing? I drove home that night. As soon as I walked in the door, Roger called me, and I answered the phone with, "Go ahead and let me have it, man." And Roger said, "No, I don't want to do that. Just And I was like, "Look, let me stop you right there." I was like, "Roger, I was wrong, dude. There is no excuse. I am so sorry. I will not apologize to Chloe because I do not apologize to children, but I'm apologizing to you because I did not mean for that to happen." And Roger's Roger, he accepted the apology, and that was 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Still friends. I still go every weekend. Just if I'm hosting and my wife comes in to say something to me and somebody snapped at my wife, I would kill them and throw them out the door. This is my family you're speaking to. You're a guest. You can leave now. So I was way out of line. So anyway, that would be something. Just remember that as a guest, you are a guest. You have no power at this place. This is Roger's castle, not yours. There you go. That's what I got. And I don't want German Shepherds. Good one.
Yeah.
And no German Shepherds.
Yes.
No, yeah, I think that's a great one. Definitely, the other members of the house, take precedence.
It is their house.
Yeah. Yeah. I had on here, as much as possible, manage your pets as the host.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone's allergic, we're all here to have a good time.
Yep.
Not, be distracted by this. So yeah, I played with some people. I'm not very allergic to dogs, but I played with some people that had huskies.
Oh,
and
dude.
They
that
just
hair's
ran around and yelled.
Man. Yeah.
Well, not the hair so much, but the dogs were just yelling.
That husky energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to them that was normal, and to me, I couldn't think about what was happening or hear what was happening. So, yeah, in general, try and make a hospitable environment.
Yeah.
If you're the host, it goes with that. Hey, we're here to have fun. We're not, trying to fight our inner demons. We're trying to fight the fantasy demons.
Right.
So,
His inner demons come out every now and then. We try and keep them
every yeah. And have some water available.
Yeah.
Like
I
think it's nice if the host has a bunch of stuff, but at a minimum, water should be a thing that people can get if they need to get water.
Yeah.
And then
At
on
least
the guest side,
at least that
at
you can
least
get
water, right?
if you could get a host like to provide snacks and things like that, like I think that's good. And I get it, right? It costs money, and I don't expect no, yeah, and I see that look, Jason, I know, but and I'm not expecting the host, like I'm not saying, hey, the host should go all out and spend $50 or whatever on snacks and all that stuff. All I'm saying is like, a bowl of potato chips or something, you know what I mean? Nothing like, I mean, we've got a huge selection because we've got the snack fund and people bring stuff. And Joe and Nabil, I think, are the two biggest proponents of that. Joel will show up and make 3 trips upstairs with, a box of stuff and soda and
I will
everything.
never buy other stuff because I that pile of stuff there, I try not to touch it because I already weigh 231 pounds, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
gain more weight. But I am more than happy. Like I'll throw a 20 in the jar.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to contribute. But this is me countering you about the host. As the host, especially if you're the GM, you're the host and the GM. You have to clean your house because we've already talked about this. I expect you to clean your house, clean your toilet, be courteous, blah, 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 blah. You're already doing more than enough to me. And you're my GM. There are people, there are asshats on this planet that charge people to run games for other people. I really do not like that. So
I'm against that
part
too,
of so as part of my courtesy to you, I'm gonna order Domino's today. And if you guys want to chip in $5-10 a piece, knock yourselves out. I'll never say no. But I don't even ask. I'm just going to order 2 pizzas. I'm going to order pizza that I want. And if you guys want some, please feel free, help yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to chip in cash, great. If not, but if Roger was like, here, have 10. No, dude, I'm not taking Roger's money. That's not going to happen. And unless like he and I'll go to the deli every Sunday during football season, we go to the deli and we get subs. Sometimes he'll buy mine. Sometimes I'll buy his. But if I order pizza, that's for everybody. And that's me saying, thank you for letting me come to the house and play your game. That's my take on that.
That's kind of how I do it too. Like we got into the pizza thing, like I was talking about earlier, and some of the guys will, they'll throw in money and some, and it just kind of goes back and forth. I don't really care because I'm going to eat it anyway. And but it's nice because we have that time to just kind of BS. But like this week, one of my guys who right now is running and hosting our Thursday night game. He bought this, or he got as a gift, like the D&D cookbook.
Yeah.
And he's been cooking like meals. Like when we show up, there's like legitimate, like we're having ham this week. Like he's already bought this fucking ham. So he shows up Saturday, and I at the same time they're showing up, I'm coming in with a pizza, and he comes over and he tries to hand me like, I don't know, some money. I'm like, keep your money. He's what? I'm like, dude, like, cook ham and all this other stuff. I'm like, dude, you're feeding me good. I'm giving you a freaking pizza.
That's
like,
awesome.
That's awesome.
I don't care about it. Like
my issue with that, and this is my psychosis. I have a very hard time eating food that other people have cooked, unless it's a restaurant. I have no idea why that line is drawn there, but it is. I can go to almost any restaurant and eat anything. Roger has invited me over to dinner, and this was like 5 years ago. He asked me if, hey, you and Stephanie want to come over for dinner, and I was like, I can't. And I was like, please understand, it is nothing against you. It is nothing against Gene. I can't eat food on other people's plates from their kitchen. I was like, I'm so sorry, man. And and then I think maybe 6 months ago, Gene brought up something. It was some kind of dip. It was like an article. I don't remember what it was. Oh no, it was Riggies. Gene brought over Riggies. I love chicken Riggies. And so I got a plate. I forced myself to go over and like get a plate of the Riggies, and I'm eating them. I got like 2 bites down, and I was like, I can't eat this anymore. So, but that's just me. I can order a pizza all day long. And like Andrew, one of our other players, he's like, I'm going to barbecue chicken today. And I'm like, thanks, man. I'm good. I'm going to get a sub. And it's just,
yes,
I was like, I'm so sorry. So but that's me. But when Andrew brings over a big ass tray of barbecue chicken, thank you so much for doing that, dude. This is super cool. I'm sure it's amazing. I'm just crazy. That's all it is. Yes, Gene is, and that's the thing. And that's why I said it. It was nothing on Gene. It's just I'm a little crazy, and I'm really sorry I can't do it.
The only thing that people say about Gene's Riggies is that they don't have enough spice to them or enough hot sauce in them, and that's because I am a pussy and don't like anything hot. So she's toned down. She doesn't use hot peppers. She just uses regular peppers and stuff.
I like my Riggies need to be like a ball of fire when I get them. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And there are some places in this area that make the best Riggies, including my wife.
Yeah, and she puts hot sauce and stuff in it, and hers like after the fact. But I just don't do it. I should try and have her make it like a little bit more like every time. Maybe I can temper it. But I've never been great with
you don't do spicy food. It's fine. Yeah, it's not a problem.
You're missing out.
These guys, the short little side story here. These guys at work years ago, I know this was probably 20 years ago. They were trying to get me to try this hot sauce that they were putting on the pizza. And I was like, no, I'll die. I'm like, I can't do it. And so finally they like rip like a corner of like the cardboard from the pizza box, and they like dip it in this like hot sauce. And I like tried it just to put it on my tongue. I thought I was going to die. And they're like, just drink milk. It'll go away. And I'm like, I'm lactose intolerant. You fools.
I was born to suffer.
I'm like, I thought I was going to die. And then I bought some really hot sauce like a few years ago for Gene and this friend of mine, Joanne. And they were in here, and like I couldn't even, like, I'd open the bottle and I just get like a little whiff of it, and my eyes start tearing up, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And they're like dumping it on a tortilla and like chewing on it and going, oh yeah, that's a little hot. And I'm like, my eyes are like half shut, and I'm like, I'm across the room from them, and I'm dying. Yeah, edgelord, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough. but yeah, it's oh man, I'm crying just thinking about it. It's just, so I can't do hot sauce. I admit it. I'm a pussy when it comes to anything that's got a little zing to it. Yeah, I don't know. The other thing that I had on my list, I don't know where we left off. I'm just going to jump in here.
Host and guest.
It's been a really good cast. I'm having a lot of fun.
No, I meant who we left off on. I think, were you the last one to say stuff, Ken? Is that?
Yeah. I'm through my list.
And this is a hard one. This was a hard one for me to decide whether I wanted to actually put it on the list or not. But wow, some reapers. Yeah, no, I would die if I saw them growing in a field, I think. So comfortable chairs, comfortable gaming area as a whole, right? Like I know that people want to host games, most people, because they want to run a game, they want to host a game at their house, but you got to have the right space for it. Like I get it. People, you can run a game at their kitchen table or whatever, and that's fine, right? If you've got the space and you can do it or whatever, that's fine. I a buddy of mine, Colin, he lived in a really, really small apartment, but he had like decent chairs and stuff, and I think that's that's important, especially if people are going to be sitting in a chair for like 4 hours. And I don't know, like my chairs aren't like the greatest chairs, but they're not, $10 metal Walmart folding chairs with no padding on them. You know what I mean? Because like I've been in situations where you go to somebody's house and they pull out these, hard metal folding chairs with no cushion on them. And
high school auditorium chairs.
Yeah. And it's like, hey man, why is everybody standing
Why?
up? It's like, well, because I sat in this chair for 20 minutes and I can't feel my spine, like, and so like, I think that's important. If you're gonna host a game, you gotta have a comfortable game here. And I'm not talking about you need 3 couches and everybody's lounging and everything else. But if you got folding chairs, go and buy some cheap pillows to kind of put, on the chairs as a pad or something, or warn people, hey guys, if you got any of those stadium, pads or whatever, bring those over,
Yeah. Like, full disclosure, that we don't have metal ones, but I have like these folding ones, and they give a little bit. They're like this, but that's one of the things I really want to change is put, like, because one of my guys does have, like, he has a designated seat, and he put a pad on the chair, and I'm like, I need to just start replacing those as money allows, and just make it more comfortable for that exact reason. You kind of do things for like my game, and we play in the basement, and where it was before, how it was before was behind me. We have this long rectangle shaped table, and I sit at the head of it, and behind me was like where I paint and build stuff, and it is a complete and utter friggin' nightmare. Like, it's just a disaster. And on top of that, there was just this bare bulb in the ceiling, and when guys would look at me, they'd be like, all they'd see is this fucking bulb. So it's like
they're being grilled by the Stasi.
Yeah, and the mess behind me. So I spent an afternoon, my son and I spent an afternoon on Amazon, and we found this huge floor to ceiling banner tapestry thing of like this huge dragon scene, and it wasn't a lot of money, but I bought that and put it behind me, so now at least they have something decent, and it hides my nightmare of a painting area. So just trying to do little things like that, I'd like to get a TV at the end of my table so I could send images to it, because I use a lot of images and stuff in my game, and instead of picking up my stupid laptop and be like, hey, it looks like this, I can just be like, look to your right and you'll see it, or your left, depending what on the table you're on. But yeah, just those little things.
Yeah, definitely helps. Jason, what else you got?
What was the question? Sorry,
I got hosting or being a guest at somebody's house. You got any other?
Oh no, and sorry, I was obviously paying attention. I got really involved in what Dakota was saying, and I was picturing that dragon banner behind him. And I was like, that's badass.
No,
I'll have to send you guys a picture of it. It is pretty cool. Like, it's
cheers.
Really cool.
That's what it was. I did a lot of cool stuff in the Army. I also beat the crap out of myself in the Army. I cracked my tailbone rappelling, and it never healed properly. So my tailbone aches a lot. So if I sit on a chair like those high school auditorium metal folding chairs, I'm like, I'll look at it, I won't even bother sitting down. I'm going to stand up the whole time. The chairs you have, never once been an issue for me. They've always been fine. Another part of that is many role players, Magic players, we have a certain amount of girth, and we move a lot of mass. Myself included, I've gained weight since I've retired. When I was working at the comic shop in Alaska, my boss bought what were supposed to be 1,000-pound chairs. They were advertised that they would hold 1,000 pounds. Many of our players put that to the test, and quite often those chairs did not meet the expected weight. We had a guy that played Magic. He was morbidly obese, and he sat down on one of these chairs one time, and I was behind the counter that day, and I was just watching him the whole time. Like, I couldn't pull my eyes away. And one of my coworkers, Timmy, he comes up to me and said, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "That guy." And he's like, well, one, he was wearing sweats and they were down around his butt, so this huge ass crack was hanging out. And Timmy goes, "Why would you want to look at that?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm not looking at his ass crack." I give that chair 3 minutes before it breaks. As soon as the words came out of my mouth, it just exploded, and the dude ate it. So that goes back to it. Yes, please have comfortable seats at your table,
Yeah.
please, for my sake.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go out and you're going to go to Walmart and you're going to buy a $10 chair, it's not going to last, man. So just
right.
Right. And that in no way means that the host is responsible for going to freaking IKEA and spending $150 on a chair for each and every person around the table.
Right.
That's not what I'm getting at. Just keep in mind who's playing at your table.
Yeah.
That's that. So,
Stan, I've got the solution for you. We're going to find you a Kickstarter for chairs. And then suddenly it'll be affordable.
Yeah.
There you go.
Based on what I saw earlier in the show, I think you can find the funding if it's a Kickstarter.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I did say at the first of the year I'm going to start like changing those things out, and if I do a couple a month or whatever, and I only need really 5 to 6. 6 would be good.
And this, like Edgelord says, right? An old dining room set with pillows, like that's fantastic. You go to a garage sale or something and pick up chairs for $10, and so long as they're not, wobbly and all that stuff, you get something that's old and sturdy. Who cares if they're mismatched or whatever?
Sure. I
got a matching set of chairs here that I got a good deal on. I think they were $20 a piece from a gaming store that was upgrading. But you find deals like that or whatever. You don't need to spend a ton of money, but I think spending $10 at a garage sale is going to bring you a lot further than a $10 folding chair at Walmart.
And I don't know where everybody lives, but like in our area, in Rogers and Ken in my area, man, there are thrift stores every 5 feet around here.
Yeah.
And you'll find somebody's old chairs, like they're a quarter. Seriously, 25 cents for a chair that is in perfect working order.
You don't need to shop for 8 chairs.
Right.
You
don't need a matching set. Yeah.
Buy one, and then a couple weeks later, just get you start replacing stuff and you just upgrade, and that's it. And
also, Joe, I would never consider you obese. You're overweight. I am too, but you're not obese, dude. I think all that walking you do as the United States Postal Serviceman, I think that probably helps you because I've seen the crap you eat.
I'm obese on the
you
are.
The scale. You're a fat ass.
That's I know. Thanks, appreciate it. Let's hey, look, I just thought of one. How about don't insult the host?
How did that come to mind?
Yeah,
dumb idea.
Oh, here we go. See, Edge Lord and Edge Lady are going to be at CNY, and they're going to pick up some chairs to drive home. Hope you got a big truck.
You're going to have a great time, dude. In fact, there's a really, really good one that's like 5 minutes from where the con is. The place is huge. It's that one by Peter's Cornucopia. What is it? Thrifty Shopper? Is that what it's called?
Thrifty Shopper, I think it is. Yeah.
Man, my wife loves that place.
Yeah, they got chairs and stuff in there, and fantastic. Edgelord, show up a few days early. We'll show you around. But Ken, you got anything else for hosting or guest? No. The only other note that I had is if you're hosting a game, I've got a mug full of Bic clicky pencils. They don't have to be clicky pencils. They don't have to be Bic. I prefer these, but I think yes, if you're a player, show up with paper and pencils and all of that stuff. But also, hey, if you're hosting a game, people do forget things. Have pencils, have extra sets of dice. You can get cheap dice. Don't buy expensive dice to loan out. Find the worst possible dice you can that are cheap to loan out, and then people will stop forgetting their dice. Give them the loaner set.
Always rolls one.
Yeah.
Unless you need a low percentile, that's roll 97 for you.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah. But that was all I had for that. Ducato, you got anything before we move on to GM player stuff? So actually at the game table stuff?
No, I think that's about
my
list.
You want to start us off for etiquette at the table? GM or player?
Yeah, I mean, some of it we touched on. Let's see.
Yeah, sure.
Like, obviously have your character sheet updated. Be reliable. Like if you can. I mean, like I said, I got one player that he just can't. Like we play on Saturday evenings, and his weekends are busy almost every weekend. So like I totally get it. But he also has accepted that, and he's not trying to play his pre-existing characters or anything like that. And he's like, I just want to play an NPC. Like if you have one I can play, I can make it. I'm like, yep, I'll make it happen. No problem. Yeah. The big thing for me is that engagement, right? So I see what I see a lot, or I see more than I would like, is people not engaged when they're not in the spotlight, right? So it's like you can have something going on the other side of the table, and this side of the table is not paying attention, and the problem is you're missing half the game.
Yeah.
And nothing aggravates me more than a whole thing will go on, and then after it's done, somebody's like, well, why don't we do this? And we're like, those guys were just talking about that and already solved that 5 minutes ago. Yeah. Where were you? Because you were sitting here. And I mean, that stuff, I'm pretty patient, but that aggravates me. And
wait, what happened?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like,
damn you, Tyler.
If you were paying attention, you would have caught that. And I think, you're missing half the game. Like, how do you know, like, your character wouldn't have something really to contribute to that if you had been paying attention, right? And it's typically in role play. I don't see it as much in combat. People are like, oh God, my turn's coming up. But like in role play, and I see some people are really good at it. Other people, and people come to games for different things. And I guess part of that is on the GM to like set that expectation. Like, hey, we're looking for, if your game is looking for like maybe more role play intensive, or maybe it's just, I'm trying to blow off steam on the end of the week. But you have to establish that. But yeah, just be engaged, because you're missing half the game if you're not paying attention to what the other guys are doing. And like I said, you could become part of that, like if you were engaged and paying attention.
Yeah.
The only time that I don't fully pay attention to the table is if my character is not physically present. If Joe is going somewhere, I'm going to go talk to somebody, I will physically turn my back to the table. And in fact, where Roger is sitting is where I sit when we play. So I will turn around and I'll be perusing his collection. But I do that, and I told Roger this because he obviously he notices that people aren't paying attention. The role playing part of the RPG is really important to me. I like it. We could sit there for 4 hours and our characters could just be talking. For me, that's a great game. I've had a wonderful time. So I will ignore what's going on at the table so that when our characters meet up, I turn around and I go, so what did he tell you? And then that's forcing Joe to translate what Roger has told him, or Roger's NPC has told him. And now, and often you get the telephone game, but now our characters are interacting, and that's really important to me. But if my character is present, I am present all the time, because that, just like you said, and then Roger said, what are we talking about? That has happened at our table. I'm sure it's happened at everyone's table, but that literally happened. The player had his phone in his hand. He looked up from his phone and said, what happened? And I was like, oh my God. So that's where that came from. Yeah.
Yeah. You're there to play, right? So play. But the other thing, it's disrespectful, like it's like, pay attention and be part of the game. Like, you have all this other time to do those other things. This is what we're here for. Play this, like, pay attention. And I mean, part of that too, I think, goes hand in hand, like just basic. This isn't like any like advanced social interactions, right? It's like basic etiquette. So it's like, if somebody's talking, like, nothing, I get aggravated too. And some of my guys are really good about picking up on it. Like, I'll be trying to describe something. Mm-hmm. And then somebody over on one side of the table, all of a sudden, is just like, starts talking to one of the players. and I'll just, sometimes I'll stop and look at them, and then just stop. And I've had to like stop and start a few times, and I'm just like, I almost want to be like my my gym teacher in high school, who was a awesome dude. And just like he would have this stare, like he would say one thing. He would be like, he would look at you, and if you didn't get the death stare, you didn't latch on to that he was like burning lasers through you. He would look at you and he'd be like, question, and people were like, oh, nope, not at all. I need to shut up. But it's like, if other people at the table are talking, and this is super important, we're going to talk about online stuff later, but it's even more. Well, I think it's equally important, but it really, in online, it can be really tough.
It's just more important, I think. I think it's more important online.
But like if somebody is talking, especially, and I'll say, I think the GM even gets preference over this. If the GM is talking, nobody else should be running their mouth. Like, listen to what he has to tell you, because again, he's going to explain something, and then you're going to be like 5 minutes later, like, oh, what is this about? And I'm like, I just talked about that for 5 minutes ago, and you had your head up your ass and weren't paying attention, or you were jabbering to the guy next to you about nonsense that doesn't matter. That's one of my other pet peeves.
Edgelord mentions that I feel like I failed as a DM if they don't engage, and I feel that too. I when like one of my things on my list is the cell phones. Cell phones at the table. And if I look up, or if I'm doing something and I see somebody checking their phone or looking at it, like for some reason, like, I mean, I get frustrated at that, and I'll bitch about that later or whatever. But like my first thought that's in my head is the same. Like, wow, I'm so bad at this that, like Joe said, Pokemon Go is more important to them than what I'm saying. And it's like, I'm that bad of a DM,
and that's not BS. I sit directly across from Roger when we play, and so and I'm constantly looking at him, and I can see the look on his face when players aren't engaged or somebody whips out their phone, and he'll look at me, like, we'll make eye contact, and I'm like, but I'm telling you, player to DM, friend to friend, whatever, it's not you, and we've discussed this at length many times. It is, it's not you. Some players, Tyler, God bless the guy. He's just got severe attention deficit disorder. I have no doubt about that. And so he's constantly, he can't wait for his next turn. So he's stimulated himself with his phone. I'm not saying it's okay, but it definitely does feel disrespectful, but I don't believe that it's meant to be disrespectful. Certainly not all the time.
Yeah, I would have to clarify some of my comments about that. Like, I don't think it's like intentionally being done, and it's just a lack of awareness, right? Lack of being self-aware, and in turn it turns into being disrespectful, but they're not intending to be disrespectful. None of my guys are. Like, I don't think if they were, they wouldn't be there. Like, see ya.
Yeah. And I see all the comments are on the side that I have no doubt those are directed at me. But I completely agree with you. Early on in our campaign, I did a lot of directing for a couple of the players because they were kind of new to it, and they made a lot of mistakes that they were getting themselves killed constantly. And so I'd be like, in fact, at one point, one of the players went to move his character, and I said, "Don't do that." And I was like, "Oh, sorry." I was like, I'm not trying to tell you how to play your character. I'm really sorry about that. Then I was like, "Roger, can we pause?" And he was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And so I was like, I don't want to tell you how to play your character. Just, you need to think tactically. And what I said was, we're not playing 5th edition. The system is not going to save you. The system is going to crush you if you let it. So look at where your character is. Look at where the enemies are. Look at where all the other players are, and think about 2 moves ahead. Play chess with them. Where's that orc likely to go? What's his most likely path? Are you okay with taking a shot from the orc? If you're not, don't step there. And it took a while, but it finally kind of sunk in. And now I do not tell the other players how to and like I said, I fully admit that I did early on, but now I don't. I'm like, you guys are playing, you do what you got to do.
We're playing CNC now. That may have been when we were doing basic fantasy. There was some hybrid, but we play like an old school game. There's no, death is very possible, and it happens. So
especially early on, we were playing basic
important.
fantasy, and if you hit 0, you were dead. And oh my god, dude, we were going through characters like crazy.
Joe, no girly push-ups. Sorry.
I was wondering if you worded it that way specifically to make people not want to do it.
Ken, what do you got
for
this? Yeah.
When we started thinking about this, you mentioned what the topic was going to be. Kelly and I spoke about this, and luckily I did that because she pointed out one of the things that I wouldn't have noticed. Don't flirt with the only girl at the table in or out of character, please.
Wait, what?
Just don't do that. And that has never been a problem for me.
No?
Somebody flirting with me trying to flirt in character with them. But she was telling me about like horror experience after horror experience after horror experience of like people getting angry because in character they were rebuked and now they wanted to deny things over the table, and there's just too much bleed through, especially if they're people you don't know. But even if they're people you do know, be mindful that that is not comfortable for everyone to do. So unless you've got real explicit permission, please don't do that.
So,
but that also goes true for the women at the table not hitting on the guys. And I know we're all thinking, "Oh, that never happens." It does.
No,
I'm aware of what I look like. I am nobody's prize catch. Many women at the table have hit on me in front of my wife, and I'm like, "Bitch, you're crazy." One, happily married, and there are lines at the table that should not be crossed unless those lines have been clearly discussed at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Now, Roger and I, our first year at Page, we were playing at an AD&D game, and it was the weirdest game I ever played in. It was, the module was porn, is really what it was. Ugh. And when we sat,
I gotta say, great module.
Yes, seriously,
module.
The whole thing.
The guy wanted to put his porn out there at the same time.
The module was super cool. But all the interactions, and I was like, man, this is freaking weird, dude. And like, there was a guy at the table who was gay, not a big deal. There were 2 females at the table, and they were like having sex in the game. And I'm looking at Roger, and I'm like, man, I just want to play AD&D. This is really weird for me. But when we sat down, the DM said, "Here's the module I'm going to be running, and the cover is pretty clear about what's going to be happening." And he was like, "Just understand that this is what we're going to be doing." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm an adult. That's cool. No problem." In fact, I was playing a female. I was playing a female ranger. And so I did not partake in any of that activity, but it was made clear to me at the beginning of the game that that's what was going to be happening. And so if I wanted to step out, I could. There would be no hard feelings.
That leads into
Edgelord,
my
it was something of the gobcocker.
Yes. In fact, I bought the module because, like Roger said, honestly, it was a really good module. But then I read through the whole thing. I was like, there's no way for me to run this.
Yeah.
So I tossed it out. I threw it away.
So several years ago, this is 25 years ago now, maybe. I was driving an hour out to an hour. We were going to Oneida to play, which is about 45 minutes. And we would go there and we'd play like all day on a Saturday. And at some point, I don't even remember where she came up, but there was this girl that wanted to play with us. And so I was, I think I was running at the time, and she wanted to come. She lived down in the valley, like 15, 20 minutes in the opposite direction.
Mohawk?
Yeah, somewhere down there. And so, like, I would drive. So it would be me, Jean, who's now my wife, and at the time she wasn't. We were just dating. And this kid Mark, and I would grab them. We'd drive to Mohawk. We'd pick her up, and then drive like an hour, now to get to Oneida to play. And I guess she would like flirt with me constantly, and I didn't really like realize it because I was like so invested in the game and gaming. Yeah, okay, it was Sheldon. So I was a player. This is Jean. So and she would like flirt with me, like eat my food and things, and we were engaged. And and I don't know, I think I was just an idiot and I never noticed because I was like, I'm gaming, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm playing like the thing. And it got to the point where something was going on and she had to she went to cast like Burning Hands, and she ended up like the GM told her, "Oh, you're gonna hit Jean's character, my fiance," and she was like, "Oh, that's okay. The cleric can heal her or whatever." And Mark, who was playing the cleric, was like, I'm second level. I can heal like 1d8 or whatever." And how would she flirt? Yeah, I don't know, Joe. Gene, maybe you can elaborate on that. I don't remember. I remember she was like eating my food or whatever, like hanging out, but I was like oblivious to the whole thing because I'm like
doing that.
I'm like playing the game. You know what I mean? I'm just like in the game. Yeah. So she ended up like killing like Jean's character, and then like we never talked to her again. Fast forward to so she was out. She stopped playing with us. Fast forward to maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I saw a newspaper article, and she got arrested, and she drove her car into a McDonald's somewhere in the valley, Mohawk or Herkimer, or something like that. And she was apparently protesting something, but didn't tell anybody what she was protesting. So she drove up into the drive-thru and drove up to the window and rolled her windows up and like cranked the radio and just sat there. And then like they called the police show up, and she ran or drove away, but they had like her license plate. So they just went to her house and found her in her car, and they arrested her. Yeah. Yeah. Weird stuff. But yeah, I guess she liked me. And what is this, Ken? What is this, some kind of math?
It's math. This is the formula for a tangent, which is what you're on.
Tangent is opposite over adjacent, right? Opposite over adjacent?
Yep.
Okay. Right. Right. That was fun. That was good, Ken. That was good. Ken's got a handful of little drawings ready to go.
I'm ready, dude. I didn't know you were going to zoom in on it.
They're loving it.
Perfectly done.
These guys love it.
Yeah.
These guys love it.
They want to.
He probably had that written up for me.
Actually, yeah, it was. It was like a long time ago. I wrote it up. I was like, oh, he actually got back on topic. I guess I can't use it.
We're talking about the flirting. Yeah, that was the flirting thing. That was what I was going for. Yeah.
Anyway, she got arrested at McDonald's.
She was a psycho. Okay, well that wasn't gaming related, but yeah,
it was a fun story.
It was crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
And then we ended up getting a buddy of mine to replace her. And then I think Gene, this is my wife, everybody. My wife, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, Gene.
Thanks.
That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Gene.
Always looking out for you.
Thanks, Gene. Appreciate it. I don't know. Anyway, all right. I'm done. I'm done.
Tapping out.
Run the rest of the show. I'm gonna take a nap. I'm out. I know where I'm not wanted. What? What else does a GM have to do? I've got some things on my list, but I just told a long story.
The big thing, and I'm not always very good at this, is manage the table. I don't know if we've, because
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting there with all your friends, and like I had a career that was built around confrontation, and I was pretty good at it. I don't want to do that with my friends, right? So I have a tendency to let things slide, like the interruptions and stuff, and I will speak up because I get irritated with it. But I have one of my players. He actually, because he runs games, so he knows what it's like. He'll actually speak up too, and like if we're not starting or if people are getting off track or whatever, and he'll step in. And I've told him, I said, dude, you're never going to offend me by doing. And I'm not turning it over to him, but I'm like, if you see something, by all means, address it, and lead. It's part of like basically like lead by example. And I can be just as guilty of a tangent as anybody else, but I try not to be. But it's sometimes hard to manage a table with your friends, because I don't want to have it feels to me like a confrontation with my friends.
Yeah.
If it was some knucklehead back when I was working, I didn't care, like whatever,
Yeah.
But it's hard.
I agree.
But you got to manage the table. That's your job, right? So,
I am also very bad at that. I admit
It's
it.
hard.
I'm very bad at speaking up and telling people, hey, get the fuck off the phone or whatever, or what I'm very, very bad at that. I hate confrontation, and I gotta get better at it at the table. So definitely.
I sure you could be a little more forceful, but again, I don't think I don't think it should be on you. It's on the players.
Sure.
Andrew knows if he's talking my ear off. Tyler knows he's picking up his phone. Josh knows that he doesn't have any idea how to play his character, and I know I can be a jackass. The players know what they're doing, so it's definitely the DM's job to manage the table, and to use Staccato's saying, and I totally agree with you. It is the DM's job to manage the table. It's the player's job to not make the DM manage the table.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ken, what do you got?
Well, along the same lines, I've got setting the right expectations at the table. Is a good thing to do, right? Because a lot of those things can they can, if they're not addressed at first and they're not addressed well later on, they could just sit there and simmer, and they'd become big things when they could have just been a little thing up front, or maybe you're not right for this table if this is going to be a big problem. Right. But that's a lot of that stuff. The managing the table stuff is like the hardest stuff about being a GM. Like the rules, no big deal. It's like trying to schedule and trying to get people to, play together well is the tricky part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. That's definitely the hardest part. The easy part is, running the encounters.
That you can get down pretty rote within the first 5 or 6 games, and then
well, 4. You get
4 games. You get 4 games. 4. That's
it.
True. Thank you. I appreciate the correction there.
One of my things that I'm bad at is getting the table to just to have myself house rule something and just move on instead of halting the game to look something up.
Oh yeah.
I'm really bad at that when we got to halt combat to look up a spell or something like that. And
that's about the only thing I stop to look up is a spell, because
and I really need to just be like, okay, whatever, it's this saving throw or this much damage, and we'll go. And then, because is it really going to make a difference? What it is. I mean, it might, maybe a little, but at least, hey, let's play it this way this round, and then while everybody else is going, actually look up the spell you cast, and we'll
True.
and we'll figure it out. Instead of like, okay, everybody pull out the books and try and find the spell and read your interpretation of it, and let's talk about it for 10 minutes. And what do you think this means? What do I mean, and
we had one of those last game with the web thing, which
with web, like what's the save and how's the save work, and
CNC's writing of the spell.
Right.
They need some help.
But I should have just said, okay, it's here. And, and I would have said a deck save and then maybe a strength check to be able to move at half movement through it. So that would have made it easier than what it actually was.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we said that, guy would have moved forward and then we could have looked it up in the next round.
Yeah.
And then just moved him back,
to read
then moved him back 10 feet or whatever, Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's true. Edgelord, whoever's playing the caster should definitely have their spells,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is for the most part what I just because I've been burned by that before, where I've assumed that players understood the spell, and then and then when I go back and I'm like, it just kind of gnaws at me a little bit. I'm like, I'm like, what the hell? So I'll go and read it, and I'm like, this doesn't work that way. Like, it works this way. Like, and again, and I don't think it's malicious. I think because I have, for the most part, with the exception of my son, I have all older, like same age players as us, and they've played this game for a long time, and they have different versions of it in their head. I frig things up because of that.
Yeah.
So I just assume that they have it, but then I come back and I read, I'm like, oh no, it actually works this way too. Like I've had that happen a few times. So, but there's a lot. I would say, I would like to hope, and if my guys are still listening or if they'll watch later, maybe they can chime in on a comment. I'd like to say the majority of the time I just make a decision and go with it, like on a ruling. Like I'm like, well, it works this way now, and then I'll figure it out later.
You're the DM.
Yeah. So
it's a good habit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm bad at doing that and saying that. And I think, some of it is because I don't want the confrontation or whatever. That goes back to that. But so what'll happen is it'll, I'll like maybe try to do that, but I'm not being like forceful enough about it. And so then the game halts and we end up looking it up.
Yeah. The only time I do that with like rules outside of spells is if we're doing a game that's new to the group, because I want to get it right.
Sure.
And then
right.
We understand
right.
it. And I like when my first Dragonbane campaign that I played in, we didn't like it was a great campaign. It was awesome. Like I had a world-class GM, and we played the Dragonbane set in the Pirate Borg setting, and I had a blast. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But I would sit there on the sidelines, and not that I was trying to like second guess the game master, but I wanted to know how the rule really worked. Like, and for the most part, I never felt cheated or anything like that ever, but I really like that game. It's one of my favorites, and I have a story that maybe I can share in a tangent, but I just wanted to know it, right? I wanted to be fluent in the rules. So I would look stuff up and be like, oh, in the future, like however you want to do it, I don't care, but it is written like this, because it was new to all of us. Like none of us had played it before. So, and then, over time we just slowly, adopted all that stuff, and it worked out great. But
nice.
I try not to grind the game to a halt too often.
Yeah. And then it's hard to get back going again.
Yeah, because you build that momentum, and then it's like the brakes come on. You're like, oh shit, I got to look all this stuff up, and I don't like to do it.
What it's just going around, Jason. What else you got for at the table etiquette?
Mine's player to player, has nothing to do with the DM. Don't touch my stuff. Period. I grew up with a brother, certainly not the only one. I find that usually kids or players that had no siblings, or like a brother and a sister that were far apart, that kind of thing, they don't really understand boundaries. And I'm speaking in general terms. I know that. My brother was 2 years younger than me. He would not keep his freaking hands off of anything. My sister was 12 years younger than me. So I'm a teenager. She's a toddler and an infant. I've got my D&D stuff in my room because it's my room. Don't go in there. I come home from school and my 4-year-old sister has completely trashed my room.
Oof.
And so like that, again, going into my psychosis, you don't touch my books without my permission. I will never say no if you ask it. Hey, can I see your book? You ask permission first. Wait for me to say yes. I will hand you the book. Feel free to take your time. Under no circumstance should you ever touch my dice. I can't, like Andrew did it once, and he reached over to grab one of my die, and as he was reaching, he was saying, "Do you mind?" And I snatched his hand, and I was like, "Oh, sorry." And of course, I let him go. I'm like, "Sorry, dude. No, you may not touch my dice. And if you think you need to use them, you ask me first. You wait for a reply, and then you may touch them." The answer is always going to be no when it comes to my dice, though. But this does not belong to you. And man, I swear to God, dude, I can hear my dad's voice in the back of my head right now. I spent my money on my stuff. If you want stuff, you spend your money on your stuff. If you would like to borrow something, you ask for permission, you wait for a reply, and then you may borrow it. Do not assume you can under any circumstance. And that's all I got.
We had a guy that would a handful of years ago. I don't want to call anybody out, but he would just he would like usually not bring dice or not pull his dice out, and then when it's like, oh, roll a saving throw, he just like grab the closest person's D20 and just roll it. Like, and people would get pissed, like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
get your own dice, know.
Yeah, I'm not the same. I'm fine with people using whatever, but in general, you should be asking before you grab anybody else's stuff.
And I'm okay for the most part if somebody like wants to use my dice or grab like my dice, unless it's like my glass set or like my expensive set.
Right.
But what really, really kills me about that is the people that'll be eating Cheetos or Doritos or something, right? And then they like think it's a great idea, and they're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna grab this person's book or whatever." But then,
I need to look up a spell.
Oh wait, hang on. I have Dorito dust on my fingers. Hang on, let me. Let me grab your book.
Do you remember that kid?
Once you get in the bathroom, wipe your ass with it while you're at it.
Yeah, Meppa, yeah.
Dude, we were playing with Chloe was at the game, and George was running CNC, and there was a kid sitting to George's left, and his parents had gone off to do something, and basically the table was babysitting this kid for 4 hours. He was chewing gum, fine, whatever. He was pulling the gum out and like making taffy with both hands, doing this with it and like stuffing it back. And dude, he would be reaching for his dice. I looked over at Roger. I was like, I'm gonna throw up. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. No, you don't get to touch anything of mine. In fact, you just stay over there in your little sphere. Oh man, it was terrible.
So this year at Mappa, the last Mappa, I went down with Chloe, and Chloe was hanging out, and she was in a game with me, and that kid and like 3 or 4 others were like hanging around, and they had come up to her because she had like the bright colored hair or whatever.
Yeah.
And they asked if she wanted to play Blood on the Clock Tower, and she like looked at me because she had no idea, and I was like, I think you'll like it. It's like Werewolf, but more complicated, and she was like, okay, like I'm in a game now, or I'm going to a game now, like maybe later. And she, instead of going back to the hotel, she ended up hanging out with them while I was talking and hanging out and in another game. And she hung out with that kid. It was like that kid and like somebody else ended up being like 3 of them. They hung out for like, I don't know, 6 hours.
That's awesome.
They were running around outside and like stuff, like exploring the hotel. And
so she's getting that social interaction that we're all supposed to be getting.
But it was good. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, I like pointed at him, I was like, okay, don't do anything crazy that gets my daughter hurt or I'm going to have to kill you. But other than that, you know what I mean? Like the dad, but yeah, she's saying, and he's a weird kid. He's got, I don't know if he's autistic or like ADD or whatever. I don't know what the I gotta stop talking because I don't know what the correct terms are now.
Right.
You know, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he's got
Good
something.
call.
But
Yeah.
no, but she had a good time. They were like running around and looking at stuff, and you know, I don't know. I think they were playing tag at one point or something with a few people. They played a handful of other games and stuff. So I mean, that was really cool.
That's great.
Having said that, yeah, I never want to be in a game with that kid again.
No. Yeah.
You know, and there were other reasons, you know, but yeah. Yeah. So, what host, or GM and player, the only other thing that I had, really was for the GM, and this has happened, you know, before at some cons and stuff, and it happens to me too, right? But like, have your shit ready to go, man. Like, don't be digging for stuff or trying to, if you're running a module, don't be like looking through, like, oh, where was this thing? And flipping through the book. And, you know, like, read the adventure ahead of time before you're going to run it for the first time, man. Like, write some notes in the corner. Like, I'm not saying you need to, you know, I'm not saying you need to Matt Mercer it and prepare for, you know, 16 hours for a 2-hour, you know, session. Like, skim through the module, have a general idea of how the thing's going to work, and have the stuff ready to go. Don't pause the game. You know, like Ducato mentioned with the momentum thing. It's like you gear up to do this combat or something, and then it's like, okay, wait, I got to find this miniature. Hang on, it's in this bag, and you know, I'm just be ready, man. You know, and that's what I got. What else? We got any other GM or player things? Stan, you got anything?
I guess I do have. I don't know if we touched on this or not. Limit the metagaming. We all fall into this, I know, but like combat's ready, you know, it's either in progress or it's about to happen, and all of a sudden there's a 15-minute real-time conversation about we should do this and we should do that. I get it. Like, tactics are a thing. I mean, my career was based around that. I understand that. But you also, like, especially the things like, if your character isn't there in that scene, maybe you're separated by a room or whatever, like, you shouldn't be shouting advice. This is my opinion. You should not be shouting advice.
Shut your mouth and watch.
Yep. Yeah. Like, let him figure it out, you know? I think we could all be better about that, you know?
That came up, that has come up a lot at our table, you know, and Joe earlier in the text was talking about, you know, because I was talking about, you know, being the boss of the table and getting away from that. And like Joe said, you know, the other players would ask me, you know, Jason, what do we do? And then after a while, I was like, you're gonna have to make these decisions yourself, man. And then later on, it would morph, you know, Yohai, what do we do? I'm sorry, dude, Yohai's not there. You know, Yohai's at the temple. You're in the tavern. This is all on you, man. I have nothing to say about this. So I'm just going to sit here and watch.
Yeah, see what happens. You know, and I think some players. I had a player that I think was kind of like this. He was just really afraid of making a mistake. You know, like, oh, I don't want to. You know, and I was like, I don't give a shit. Like, sometimes mistakes are some of the best things that happen at the table, because it's like, oh my god, you know, there's ones that are ridiculous. Like, I mean, I've been killed in a session because the guy didn't read the spell the whole way or whatever. But, you know, in general, like, you know, it's the errors that bring out like more stuff, you know, and it's like, why not just do it? Like, nobody can, it's not life or death, really, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you screw this up, you might, like, we had in one of our recent couple sessions ago, combat, and our party wizard, who's a really good like player as far as like understanding for the most part like his abilities, and he always plays wizards, and that's another topic. But they were fighting spiders, and the party fighter was underneath a swarm, and he was either almost, I think he was almost dead. Like, he was almost hit, and he didn't know that. He didn't know. Well, his character didn't know, and he shot the the thing with like a not lightning bolt, but some electrical spell. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, he also takes all that damage because he's in the swarm. And he's like, and then it was priceless. So the look on his face was like, oh, dude. Shit. Well, then when it got better, he was like, oh, well, I didn't know that. So he rolls the damage, rolls pretty good. And then the player that was affected sits right next to him. And he's like, says something about like, basically, oh, I'm down. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I'm dead.
Whoops.
Like, I think it actually dropped him below. It did. It killed him outright. Like it dropped him below -10. And I was like, well, didn't expect that. But the session kind of ended there too. We were towards the end of the night. Obviously, I mean, that was just a mistake. That wasn't him not understanding. I mean, maybe not quite understanding the fact that like the guy's inside of what you're shooting at. He's going to feel the brunt. He's going to take some of that.
Yeah.
And he took it, but yeah, just the metagaming. I think it's something we could all strive to be better about, and just if you got something you want your character to do it, and you'll learn, if it was a good idea or a bad idea, and that's the only way you're going to make like Jason said, initially had players that didn't really know what was going on because you sort of kind of got to direct it. Then over time, it's like, okay, it's time for the training wheels to come off.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly
I played in a game years ago, and I was the only veteran player. Everybody else was brand new. And after a few sessions, the game master came to me after a session, and he's like, hey, is the game all right? You're not really saying much. And I was like, dude, I'm just sitting back watching the show. Like, this is fucking awesome. Like, these guys, because they don't know what they can and can't do. So they just do whatever they want. And it's awesome. Like, it's just awesome to watch. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you should do this, and I want to see where this craziness is gonna go. Like, where's this chaos train going? You know? So I get it. Like, and I think what you did is fine. Like, you give them that direction at the beginning, but then all of a sudden you're like, hey, you guys got to start making these decisions on your own. And that's, and when you have veteran players, like, they should all be able to make decisions on their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess it kind of goes. I have like one of my players. He's always, and I don't think it's totally a bad idea, but he's like, we have never really, in my main group, when I start a campaign, we have never really sat as a group because we're all real world, like logistically apart from each other. Some more than others. Sat and made our characters together. Like we'll talk about them online in the group chat. Like, oh, I want to play the fighter, or I want to play the wizard, and they'll go back and forth. And then we show up and we get going. And one of them is always like, we should make them all together, and then we can. He wants to like make that group synergy right off the bat. And I'm like, part of that, the way that synergy really comes about is by actually like working together, like over time. Like, you're brand new adventurers, you're first level. All my campaigns start at first level. You're idiots, okay? Like, you don't know, it's your first day on the job, so you're going to learn that synergy over time. Like, oh, if you do this, like one of the things going on in my game is my friend that plays the party cleric, he's really good at it, but like, he's a dwarf, so he doesn't have the greatest movement. And what he wants to do is, he's not that great at melee combat. He tries, but he's just not really, the dice don't like him. But he wants to like buff everybody. He's like, I could do this to him. I could give him this, but everybody takes off on him and goes into combat. And he's like, I can't buff him.
Wow.
He's like, you guys got to stick. Like, they found boots of speed, and they ended up with another dwarf, but there was talk about giving them to him so he could friggin' keep up with all these fools as they run around the battlefield and try to help them or heal or whatever. So I just think, like, I don't really see a big desire to try to like artificially build that synergy, like, as you start. I'd rather see you guys develop it more like in play over time. We're 76 sessions into this campaign. Like, you guys should be able to work together by now. If you can't, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. What else we got for GM and stuff at the table? Jason, you got anything?
No, I can do story time all night, but I'm good.
Ken, what do you?
I've got a couple more.
Yeah. It looks like
I
you're
wouldn't
the
say we're
only
not
one, I think. I
metagaming.
don't know. Go ahead.
There are times, I mean, I agree that for the most part, you should be playing what your character knows and not what the table knows. But I will make exceptions in cases where, like, somebody is playing a veteran sailor and wants to know, should they lower the sails or should they lower the anchor? The player doesn't know that.
Right.
The character does know that and asks the table. I think situations similar to that, I'm fine with, like,
That's fine. Yeah.
hey, if you're stumped, go ahead and ask the table. So that's my exception, but for the most part, I also agree, like, please try to make the decision on your own because it's the interesting thing you brought to the table tonight. Please go ahead and let us know what that is, right? For players, bring an attitude of mutual respect and excitement for the game. Like, show up and know that everybody else also spent their time with you. So you don't need to run over anybody's plans. You don't need to insult people at the table. Be there and be a champion of your fellow players and their characters. Like, even in cases, I know, Jason, you said you don't like to listen in on other scenes. I like to listen in on the scenes I'm not in, not so that I can act on the information, but so that I can enjoy the show and enjoy the character that somebody's inhabiting or the tactical decision they have to make. Because, part of this is, you're with your friends and you're showing off, and then, listen when it's not your turn. Try not, I mean, I'm saying try. If the game is not interesting enough to you to stay off of your phone for, more than
hours.
yeah, it's 4 hours. To us that really love the game, that sounds like nothing. But I mean, Kelly tells me, like, 4 hours, how are you going to do that? We did the 8-hour gaming session the other day and she was like, I don't understand. But if the 4-hour game is too much for you, maybe politely excuse yourself, because it is very distracting as the GM to not only think I'm failing as the GM, but now you got to wonder. Like, my brain goes to, like, oh, I saw a snippet of that video. Was that the one I saw the other day about the monkey getting on the dog? Like, I shouldn't be thinking about anything but conveying the scene and responding to players. But now I'm like, I see a screen or I hear a side conversation or whatever. Um, that's it for players. And similarly on the GM side, try to treat your players with mutual amounts of respect. So if you're willing to house rule for player A 9 times out of 10, you should be willing to house rule for player B 9 times out of 10, unless there's a really good reason to not be doing that. But if you can't extend that respect to player B, maybe they should be in a different game than the one that you're playing at the table, right?
Yeah.
That's me running through the list. That's all I got.
Joe brought up table sodas. This is like a difficult one for me, right? Like I don't like sodas at the table, and I know Joe brings this up because I don't know if I screamed at him, but I mean I kind of like unloaded on him a little bit because I think it was an empty can and it tipped, over or whatever. He bumped into it. And I like lost my mind because it's like, there's 10 books on the table that are $50 a piece. There's miniatures on the table that some of us, like hand painted or whatever, or paid Ducato to paint or whoever, right? Like, these are all priceless things. Or like, I'm looking at the table now, right? And I've got cardboard trees, like,
and just don't like soda.
Like, man, if like a soda spilled and it got on, a bunch of stuff. So, I mean, that's like a rough thing. Like, I get it. People need to be able to drink. Now, Jason, he he puts his drink on the shelf behind over here, and there's a
coaster,
Crusades coaster there. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. No, I'm making sure to munching the coaster. I'm not. He's not a heathen. He doesn't just put it on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
But it's off kind of to the side. So like, and I don't know. Really, like I have a water bottle that I use. I know you guys see me drink at that, and I usually have that off to the side. Yeah, and like that's okay. Cans, you know, Edgelord mentions using a Stein, so that's like harder to tip over, obviously. So there's things like that that's fine. But I don't know. It's hard. Like everybody needs to have a drink at the table, really, but yeah, it really needs to not be on the table. That's really the bottom line. I think it needs to be a Stein with like a sippy cup thing attached.
A rubber nipple on top.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the solution. You know what I mean? Like everybody should have water bottles and stuff. But like I get super weird like watching cans, and like Joe said, he's a little clumsy. Like I mean, I see him moving around or whatever, or hang over the can, and I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna end badly. Yeah, side tables. I think that's yeah, side tables.
Totally agree.
And we talked, Paul, Jason, and I talked about building a gaming table, and one of the things like we like no cup holders on the table, like that's not happening. We use side tables, especially if we build a table. Like right now, I got 2 6-foot plastic tables that are clamped together, but we build a table with no drinks on the table, right? Because we're gonna have a custom like insert play mat in the thing or whatever, and I mean, some cool stuff that's going to be expensive, especially when we build the final form. It's going to be, decent wood, and I mean, it'll be sealed and but still all the stuff that's on the table is worth a lot. So
this will all be on Jason's Dungeons and Woodcraft or whatever channel you can have.
Dungeons and Woodcraft. Yeah. Dungeons and Woodcraft.
No, not going to
happen. So, yeah. And so basically, what else was there? Anything else that we had? GM player facing stuff? No, we can move on. Okay, we're at 3 hours 20. I just trying to get through this. I don't want to hit the 4 hour mark. I don't think anybody will watch this afterwards. Gaming with strangers versus friends, right? What are some of the things that we got to look out for? So, one of my things, like etiquette wise, right? If you're a player and a bunch of people and there's a new person at the table, like try to be, I'm not saying go out of your way, but try and be accommodating to the player. Mm-hmm. Ask them, hey, what's your character's name or whatever. And I've seen that a lot at the table where like, somebody new, they show up, especially if it's an existing play group and there's one new player that comes in, they're a little nervous. They don't want to do it. So like, for the other players and stuff, try and include them. Say, hey, what's your character's name? And what do you guys like to do? Or like, in character, hey there, would you like to join us on this dungeon adventure? Things like that. So, I mean, that's one of my things there.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, thank you. What do you got, Ducato? You got something?
Yeah, I think that's great advice. We should we're trying to you want to keep this hobby going, right? So we're going to need new people, and I can say from a personal experience, like I used to run games at Crossroad. We used to run a lot of games there, and I had the occasion to have like a brand new, she had never played a role-playing game before at my table, and it was freaking awesome. Like it was just, and I've played in groups, like I mentioned earlier, guys that were new, but like as an adult, a little bit more experienced than I was back then. It was a blast. Like I loved having her at the table, and I'll never forget, like I was describing, and I have that in my notes. Like I mean, there's obviously certain topics I don't touch on in even my home games, but if I'm running at the shop, it's like a PG-13 game. Like,
I've got that like
fairly
written down here.
tame, but like I like to be descriptive too. So like again, they were fighting spiders, and one of them got hit with a swarm, and I was like talking about him like creeping and crawling all over him and being rather destructive. And one of my other players who had played in all my games, she knew this girl, and she says, "Oh," she mentions to her, like, if anything bothers you, you can just, speak up or whatever. And she was like, "Oh, this is awesome." She was right into it. So I was like, "Oh, good." Because I don't do any of that stuff, I guess. So, but I run generally like a game. Like if there's anything in my game that bothers you, like for strangers, it's probably not the right game for you, because it's pretty tame. Like it's not anything crazy. My home group, that's a different story. Like I don't give a shit about your phobias or anything like that. I'm a horrible friend. Like I had one player, he's still in my group, he just doesn't get to play with us. He's scared of spiders, like to the point where he stopped playing Skyrim the first time a giant spider dropped down. He's like,
the frost spider got it. That's in Bleeding All's Burrow. It's 10 minutes into the game, dude.
So, and he quit. He was like, "Nope." So me being the great friend that I am,
further than I got in the game.
They had they were fighting this big spider, and I had the terrain all set up. I had a big miniature all painted, his nasty,
real cool layout, yeah.
And I had to walk behind him to go move some stuff. And then when I'm walking back, I crawled my fingers across his shoulder blades.
Oh my God!
Because I'm a great friend, right?
But, Jesus, dude.
But would I do that in a stranger? No, absolutely not. No. But it was my friend, and I'm just busting his balls, and I'm like, "Get over it, dude. You'll be all right."
Yeah, edgelord. There's PG-13 and PG-13 and triple X is a big gap there. I mean, you're missing the whole R-rated stuff, but always playing evil and stuff. Yeah, that's just not. I don't like
do that in
my
home games.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm a heroic. I like heroic games.
No, and that's interesting, Stan.
Get the evil out of your system in your 20s, and then
right.
Get to the real game.
It's interesting, Stan. Running, for strangers, and I'm the same way. Like if I'm gonna run like a one shot or for a con or so. Like I won't lean in. Not that I do that in my home game anyway, but I don't like lean into anything that's like super scary or super, you know what I mean? Anything like that. And if it's going to be something like spiders, right? Like I'll put that on the description, of the game, that it's going to be, you're going to, try and fend off the spider. Wait, if anybody's afraid of spiders, they shouldn't sign up for the game.
Correct. I started a game for my home group one time with them literally being strapped down to a table being tortured by like this serial killer that was going around the city. And I described that in great detail. But it was because it was my group that I understood, and they were like, "Oh, fuck, this sucks." But they weren't like, I would never do that for strangers or at a con game, unless it was like you said, like explicit in the game description, like, "Hey, this is gonna cover these topics. If you're not cool with this, it's not the game for you." But yeah, my games at the shop, which I had a blast running. I thought it was great. We were talking about it today, actually, when I was over there working. I had a blast running for those folks because I didn't know anybody, and it really helped me, as a game master to do it. But I tonally ran different games,
Edgelord wants to come on and argue for playing evil. I think that if he comes on, him and Jason are going to swoon over each other the entire time. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea.
I don't play evil.
No. It's just at you and Edgelord, I think,
we get along very well. Apparently,
you get along very well. So
it's going to devolve into a 3-hour discussion on Skyrim.
No, Edgelord, we would love to have you. Message me. I don't know. Find me on Facebook. Message me on the YouTube thing.
He just did.
Did he? Yeah, yeah. I guess you know what I mean. Listen,
boy,
Ken is like,
and on that note,
he was right on top of Roger today.
This is going to be a one-man show. Really,
I'm sorry, Raj.
Yeah. I'm putting people off the island.
Yeah, people are going to get voted off the island really quick here. I do have a man crush. See,
appreciated. Happily married.
No. seriously, Edgelord, find me, whatever, and we'll chat. We'd love to have you on the show. We'll figure out a topic and stuff, and we'll get you on. We'll talk about it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have much. That was kind of like what I had. I mean, to just be mindful of like, new people and and if you are a stranger, right? I know it's hard, but try and introduce yourself to the group. It's always a little awkward, I know, to like introduce yourself. And it's just as hard, if you show up to a table and you're sitting there and your head's down and you're not kind of paying attention to anything, like, that's hard for other people to try and interact with you. So at least try and have like an open mind or whatever to say, hey, I'm so and so. I'd like to play this kind of character or whatever, and just and hopefully everybody else will kind of latch onto that, and you easily get in. And we've done it with con games, a handful of times.
Can I tell a quick story that I promised last one tonight, because it actually totally lines up with that. I was at Gary Con. I was playing in a 12-hour game. It was great. I think we were all 10th level, and I was playing a thief character, or rogue, or whatever 3.5 called him. But he was a spy master. He was extremely serious, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody said, it shouldn't surprise me that Jason's a method player. I don't really do it on purpose, but I guess I am. So I was sitting at the table the whole time with this look. The whole time, like stone dead serious. And about an hour into the game, this woman, who was a great player, she was sitting across from me. She looks at me and she goes, do you just not want to play in this game? And I was like, whoa, what do you mean? And she said, well, you look like you're pissed, like you're not having a good time. And I was like, oh. And I was like, Matt, can we do character introductions? And Matt was the guy that was running. And he was like, oh, yeah, go ahead. So we introduced our characters to each other. And I introduced him as, he's the spy master. He has no friends. And he works directly for the Lord of the city. So everything is serious for him. There is no joking. There is no fun time. He's always on duty. And as soon as I explained that to them, everybody was like, oh, I get it. And after that, her character, my character got along awesome. And she was super cool to play with. But it took that introduction for everyone to understand that I wasn't just some sour-faced jackass sitting at the table. I was playing my character. So
it's like when we were playing Blade Runner and you were like, dude, why are you being an asshole? And I'm like, it says so on my character sheet.
And I read the character sheet and I was like, dude,
I don't like synths. And like, I'm an old retired guy and I'm pissed off about it. And you're like, let me see that. And you're like, oh, you are? Okay. You're good.
Yeah, I was like, man, you're really nailing this character. He was like, cool.
Joe just hit that in the chat too.
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, Roger's got Blade Runner. Yeah, because the thing says story. Like, oh, you don't trust synths and like they're no good and like all this stuff. And I'm like, okay.
I thought he was just being a dick, and I was like, man, I'm having the time of my life, man. You signed us up for this game? Why are you being such an asshole?
Yeah. Oh, and I'm like, this is the guy. I'm playing my guy. Yep. Yeah, presents characters. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Just crazy. So yeah, just crazy. But yeah, that was interesting. I don't really have anything else for gaming with strangers. What, Ken, you got anything?
I usually try not to bring up the most inflammatory topics of the day that I've been like doom scrolling about or whatever if I'm playing with strangers.
Why?
Yeah, sure.
Just because we're there to have fun. We're
there to game.
We're trying to get away.
Right? I think
we're there to game.
Right? So
I think that it can even extend to not strangers, right?
Yeah.
So like one of the groups I play in, I am fairly certain, like I'm politically opposite of all of them. And we don't talk about any of that stuff, which is great because I'm not there to do that. Like I'm there to hang out with they're my friends and I want to hang out with them. One of my very best friends that plays in my regular group, he and I don't really, occasionally we'll talk about, but we've both gone down the rabbit hole too far and it kind of soured us. I know it did me for a little bit. And then I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, that's my best friend. Like, we just don't deal with that. There's so many other things we could talk about, so it's like we don't have to. But definitely with strangers, I think Ken is onto something. It's not worth it.
Shelve that. Yep.
Yeah,
that's not worth it. It's about gaming. We're there to game. We're talking about gaming. Yeah, and that didn't even show up in like my etiquette list because that I think is like that's so far like above that.
You'd think, right?
Yeah, it's like above that level that like I don't even think it needs to be said. Like, just don't. You're there to game. Well, what does it matter? Anybody's whatever they think about any subject, modern thing that's going on in the world today, or religion, or whatever it is. Who cares?
I think it's especially now that instead of just having information out there, we have these algorithms that are driving us to extreme points so that we buy more dish detergent or whatever the hell they're selling this week, right? It's easy to get convinced that you should always be at 100% with everything, and you should, do the things you believe in and back the things you believe in, but that's one part of your life. Let this be a different part of your life.
Yeah.
Because I think, I'm sure Jason and I are on opposite sides, I think, of the political spectrum. And at some point, one day, we'll have a conversation and I'll tell him how wrong he is about every subject. But until then, we're just going to play the game at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're never going to make me like that, dude.
And Ken, when we've had
one day
we've had discussions, Ken, you and I, and and I mean, we're able to do that out of game, and have a conversation adult to adult, and I mean, and even though you lost all those arguments, we're still friends. I mean, I
never shouted the word Nazi, and that's
and I even said this to you online. Like, I think I messaged you afterwards. Like, no, we had a good conversation about it, and I think that's what needs to happen. But not at the game table. It doesn't, and we had a great conversation about it, and that we're be civil about that shit. I mean, there's no reason to be losing your mind over that. Anyway, this is no, so thanks for that, Ken. Appreciate it. But leave the drama at the door. If you have a personal problem, don't make it the table's problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have anything else as far as for a game with strangers. Anybody else going once, going twice?
Mind your manners. That's it.
Online is the last subject. So what's different from online play from anything else? Decado touched on this earlier. I think paying attention is 10 times more important in the online game than it is in real life.
It's also 10 times harder.
Exactly.
Well, it's 10 times harder, right? And I think that's why it's that much more important. Like the level that you have to pay attention is still the same, but it's more important online because people, the social cues are way harder to read. And so you need to be like on point, whereas if you're sitting there and you're looking aside and you're, and like, you never know when people want to do something, so you really got to be actively paying attention and figuring out when people are gonna, when people want to talk or when they want to say stuff. And I know when I get going and Jason wants to say something, he puts his hand up here, I mean, not just in gaming, but here in the chat, like, hey, I got something to say on that or whatever. And that's like good, like, etiquette, I think, for online. And some people don't do that. They just want to jump in and start talking over people. And then you can't understand, what anybody's saying.
Yeah, that's the online thing. And again, I know I'm not alone in this, is especially difficult for me. I'm sitting here. This is my gaming rig. You guys can't see it, but I built a gaming computer here. So when it turns on, my brain thinks it's time for Assassin's Creed. It's time for Skyrim. It's time for whatever. And so it is extremely, like doing this podcast here, I'm fully engaged. I'm paying attention. I'm involved in all the conversations. When we're playing online, the pauses tend to stretch out. The gap between participation stretches out, and I start getting very easily distracted. And it is extremely difficult for me to see my controller sitting 2 feet away at the end, my fingertips. There's my controller. And right now, last night I started playing Assassin's Creed Revelations again because I love the Ezio trilogy. And so I started playing it again last night, and it puts me in such a great mood. All day while I spent 8.5 hours driving today, I was thinking about that game. I walked in the door, kissed the wife, washed my hands because I had touched nasty boxes all day, sat down, turned my computer on, and the first thing I thought was, I can't wait to pick up Ezio again. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's Tuesday. They're waiting on me to join the podcast. So, and this is something I'm fully invested in. I'm not fully invested in random online game. And so it is extremely difficult for me to sit here in front of my gaming rig and not want to play a video game with it turned on. So yeah, the online D&D thing, as much as I want to believe that it's great, I've spent a lot of money on VTTs. I can't do it. Not anywhere to the level that I can sit at a table and play with my friends or strangers.
Let me ask you this: can you answer this question in 10 seconds, or do we need an episode?
Yes, but it also has a lot of problems. There you go. I did like it enough to get a tattoo of it. There you go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
cool. That's pretty good.
I was asked to keep it to 10 seconds. I have done so.
I just we're at 3:45 here.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about Valhalla.
Yeah, and let's maybe we could do a video game RPG to pen and paper episode or something like that, and talk about the differences. And then that would be good to get Edgelord involved in something like that.
Yeah,
maybe, and then we could talk about all that stuff and that kind of translation, and we can bring up like running Star Wars games and video games versus the movies and the actual stuff. Talk about all that and it fit in great. The Star Wars game, Joe, that was all me. That's just because I'm just that good. No, the game was really simple. Just a simple kind of D20 system, and it was really a good time. And we could talk about Star Wars. We'll cover Star Wars in another thing again. But yeah, online play, I don't really have anything other than paying attention and don't be doing any distracting things that you wouldn't do at the game table.
Right.
Because you're at the game table when you're in front of your computer. So that means no chatting, no playing other games, no phone, no playing on your phone, no, any of that stuff. That's all that stuff goes for online.
If you're eating, mute your mic. Shit like that.
Jeez, right?
Don't eat during the game.
I've got a couple of things.
What?
If nobody else has stuff, I've got a
Ken, do it, because Stan and I are going to argue for 45 minutes about whether we should eat during a game. So
on that note, use push to talk if you don't know what's coming through your mic. I don't need to hear your mother having an argument with her sister on the phone in the background, or the episode of CSI in the next room, or you eating your chips. Use push to talk.
Yes.
Unless you're 100% sure.
Yes.
Agree.
Before you get online, check your equipment. Just check the mic, check the speakers. I don't need to spend 10 minutes at the beginning of the game helping everyone with Discord settings or whatever. And then if you're running on a VTT that you're real proud of, know how to use it.
Yeah.
Because I think this is the reason I don't play online games anymore, is half the game is them going, oh, I thought when I did this, it would, let's just stop the action. Worse than looking up spells is looking up Reddit tips on how to run Foundry or
Reddit tips on how to run Foundry. Yeah.
That's about it. It's funny you mentioned Foundry.
That's my list.
I love Foundry, but good Lord, it is complicated. I've spent a lot of money on Foundry, and I gave up on it. I can't do this.
There's you can make a career out of it almost. A lot of these big companies that launch with hey, we promise we'll have a Foundry module. So they're paying somebody
that's freely
to make a module, right?
All their Kickstarters, you can get Foundry modules. Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, I think the cool thing is like, oh, it does a lot of the stuff for you. But the bad thing is if you don't pay for it and they didn't do it well, you're kind of screwed, right?
Yeah.
So I've avoided those at
Yeah.
all costs now. So
Yeah.
those are mine.
Yeah,
my list.
$50 Foundry. Yeah.
It's been a lot more than
Yeah,
that.
and I don't mind Foundry so much. It takes a lot of setup though.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and that's since we're talking about the bad points of VTEs, if you get somebody that's good at it, that like Mike Flugard, we played with him, or at least I played with him.
Yeah.
He was really good at Foundry. And so we would be playing and I was like, man, this is badass. This is really cool. But you've got to be proficient with the stuff. Otherwise it just like Ken said, it just destroys the game.
And that's that thing. You don't have to get complicated with it. And that's how I would run it. Yeah, I would use it as a dice roller and put the maps and stuff on there.
Yeah.
And that was it. And just use it as a simple thing and not using full blown sheets and everything else.
Lines of sight and all that. It's very complicated. At least for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, online play. Anybody got anything else? Stan, you want to argue with me about food or no? You're okay with eating?
No, you're wrong.
You're a
but
heathen,
that's okay.
Okay, all right.
I did have my mic muted and my camera off every time I was eating.
Yeah,
I think I did. Anyway, so.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, I get it, but we're not running a game here, so I'm okay with it. But Ken, you went through your list. You're good.
Good.
Yeah, you put a whole bunch of time, and maybe we'll talk about online play or something. We'll talk about the different VTTs one of these episodes. But post game, right? My thing is, I'm gonna try and summarize this in one fell swoop, and everything that, if you're a player, everything that you think you're gonna do in the first 5 minutes of the game, you should be doing that at the end of the previous session. And that list includes leveling up, shopping, where the party is going to go to next, who's coming, and schedule the next game. That's it.
Yeah.
All that should be at the end of the session, not the first 5 minutes, because if it happens in the first 5 minutes, it's 45 minutes.
Yep.
I'll drop the mic to that one. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You're not wrong.
If you are the guest, clean up after yourself. Take all your stuff with you.
Yeah.
And I agree. That's a habit I'm trying to build is when's the next game and what are you doing? Because I want a week to think about what might be in those hills or wherever if you're going out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that.
It depends on the system.
But it's like the bell rings. The bell rings at the end of class, and everybody's like,
"Gotta go!"
Oh, yeah.
God,
I have a mixed bag with that. I have some guys that stick around and hang out. I mean, we play until about 10 o'clock. So, and I'm fine. Like, if anybody wants to stick around and shoot the shit, I'm more than happy to. But yeah, I do that. Hey, or if not, then for me, like I will usually ask them if I don't know. I'll be like, okay, what do you guys want to do next time? Because do whatever the hell you want. I just need to know what it is so I can prepare it, and that's what we're going to do. So.
Yeah.
Anything less than that?
Go ahead, Dakota. Sorry.
No, please go, Jason.
I'm kind of a mix of both. I drive an hour home and there, so everybody knows as soon as 8 o'clock, as soon as we're done, I'm leaving.
That makes sense.
I pick up all my trash
and
I throw it away, and I'm like, great time, guys. I'll see you next week, and then I roll out. But almost every week, as soon as I get home, like when I'm sitting in front of my computer updating my character, I get on Discord. Hey guys, I was thinking about this on the way home. What do you think about this? What do you think about this?
Yeah.
So that's my version of hanging out for another half hour or an hour, or shooting the poop and all that. Because I've said this before in some of our earlier podcasts. I'm always thinking about Dungeons and Dragons. So when I'm driving down the road and there's nobody distracting me, sitting in front of the computer with a cat on my lap, I'm thinking about D&D. What do you want to do with this? How about this? So yeah, so that you get a delayed extended edition when I play.
Yeah, and we'll chat too, Jason and I. If he's
yeah.
on the road for several hours, or I'm on the road for a couple hours, or if he's on the road like today, like he's on the road and I'm doing some work at a at a site, and I'm walking through buildings, I'm like, all right, I got 20 minutes like walking down and writing some writing notes down and stuff. Like I'll put my headset on and we'll talk about D&D and the game, and everything.
Drives my wife crazy. oh, your other wife called. Hey, but we're talking about the game, or we're talking about work. Yeah, we're talking about the game. Yeah, she's not a big fan of that, but I've got one friend, and that's Roger. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. But
Ken, you're good.
Yeah,
too. Joe, you too, man. Dakota, of course.
I'm in.
We're going to meet in person eventually, more than 5 minutes. So
yeah.
It'll be great.
You guys are gonna be stuck with me for 4 days next year.
It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah. Seriously, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Plus, got the Skyrim game. We'll all be standing around playing. I am super excited for that.
Did that just come out a little while ago?
No, it's a couple years.
Maybe 3 years ago.
They had one at the shop today.
Yes, a different one.
That I damn near threw my back out lifting. It was massive.
Oof.
Well, that might be mine.
It's like it said Elder Scrolls. It had the ring, and then there was an
sounds like it.
Additional thing in the behind it. They had an additional thing. It was like almost like an album thing, but it was like yay thick. But this thing was like this thick. It was huge, and I was like,
and "This is the game."
Yeah, some sort of board game. I didn't get a chance to look at it for very long, but.
Every couple of years, a different company makes a different Skyrim game or a different Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah.
This specifically said Elder Scrolls on it.
This might be that.
Also, Bethesda makes a different Skyrim game every couple
of years. And I buy it every single time, dude.
You're the one.
They make that for me. Yep.
Edgelord, yeah, we have a private Discord for my game, and I've got different channels and stuff set up, and we've got a scheduling channel and a game chat and a session report channel and like all of that. So I've tried to make it really easy on the guys to be able to, go in and look and have that information available and not have to scroll through, pages of notes and stuff. This way they know what channel to look on and things like that. Yeah, that'd be great, Ken. And Ken has even started. I'll call you out on this, but because you've mentioned it, but like you've been pretty good at the end of the session. As soon as everybody's before everybody stands up, you're like, "Hey, what are we gonna do next week, guys?" And,
I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
It's usually like, "Well, I don't know. I figured we do something. I don't know. We'll figure it out." Okay, bye. But that,
yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've got my home game. I'm trying to do a Sword of West Marches style, and the Monday group did something really interesting, and I don't want to be the one that is going into the chat saying, "This is the cool way the world changed." I'm just begging, please. I think 3 times at the session they were like, "Oh, that was really cool. Next time we could try and do this." And I was like, "Could you put that online, please?"
Yeah.
Don't say it anyway. Just write it. Just that exact. Oh, okay, maybe nothing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they figure that out after a couple of weeks, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's rough. It's interesting. You got to give them give them an XP award. That helps.
I'm not doing it. I'm not giving in.
No.
They got to learn.
That's what I found helps. You bribe the players with XP for doing things, and then they do it, or they look around and they go, "Geez, how'd you get so much more experience than me?" Yeah, it's like, "Oh, because I've been getting 500 XP every week for
every
2 years.
Single week." Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought about doing that because I have one player. I think he is fairly if something significant happens like in the game or to his character, like I have a section in my Discord where it's in character like comments, like so he'll go in and he'll write like these things like narratively, like what his character's going through mentally that might not come out at the table all the time. And I've thought about that. Like I'm like, I probably should give him some sort of reward for that, because he is role playing his character. He's just doing it in between sessions, which they're all welcome to do. One of my players handed me this. I didn't read it until the next day. He's like, you don't have to read this right away, but he hands me this folded up piece of paper and even drew this wax seal on the front of it. And then the next day after the game, I was like, oh shit, I never read that. And it was like a 2-page this was for his regular character. It wasn't for the one he played in the last session. Wow. It was a 2-page in character letter to the Lord Mayor of this city that they were in, because the city had banned arcane magic, and he was basically appealing to him like, hey, you need to change this, because here's this and this. We helped the city with all these problems, and we weren't able to do that without the help of arcane magic. So it was like this really cool, like right out of the blue. Like I had no idea this was coming, and I was like, I got to think about that. Mm-hmm. So that will definitely. He asked me, because we chatted about it, and he was like, "Do you think that'll have any sort of splash?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's going to." I mean, I'm not going to have
That's pretty cool.
I'm not going to have a player put that kind of investment into something and then not have it rewarded. And it was well done too. Like it made a lot of sense what he was saying, and yeah, it's definitely going to have an effect. But he should also probably should get some experience points for that, along with my guy that writes on the Discord. So that's probably coming for those guys.
Yeah, reward what you want to see more of. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I need to do that.
That's how I feel.
The thing with the Discord thing, Roger was giving out like a small experience point bonus if you did session notes at the end, and it was like within 4 days. And that came about because I'm sitting there taking notes during the game, and as soon as I get home, I start typing this journal, and it's like it's a novella. And then another player would wait until like Sunday at noon, and he would write 6 sentences, and we were getting the same amount. And like, I wasn't doing it for the experience point. For me, it's part of playing the game because I'm always thinking about it. But it really pissed me off, and I was like, Roger, man, I've put my heart and soul in this game. I've made maps. I built all this stuff. I bought this ship and blah blah blah. And I'm like, but I'm not getting rewarded for it. And so and that's difficult because I'm not doing it to get rewarded, but I feel like I'm putting a lot of effort into this. Yeah. And it's not even not that I wasn't being rewarded. It was like it wasn't even going noticed. Like the ship thing. I bought this ship. I had it made 2 months later. It finally got to us. I'm like, we've got a ship, and everybody was like, oh, cool, we've got a ship. Let's go. And I'm like, what? Really? That's all you have to say? Well, I built this temple in the middle of town, and it's magnificent. And everybody was like, cool, you built a temple. Are you really? That's it?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, whatever. So, but that's fine. I don't know. And that's just me whining, I guess. It was just really frustrating. But whatever, doesn't matter. In fact, Joe in the chat is the only one that said anything. He was like, wow, this temple is really cool. My thief kind of wants like a secret lair. Can we build a not a mausoleum, but a catacombs? Can we put a catacombs underneath it? And I was like, Yohai will agree to catacombs on one condition: no level of crime whatsoever, and no evil activity will take place in these catacombs. I will sanctify the catacombs. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. I just want some place like a lair to hang out. And I was like, you got a deal. Let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got guys doing that too, that are talking about like building. One of them's a cleric building the temple, and he wants to build his dwarven god of brewing, so that's who he worships. So and he's going to be a brewer. And then the fighter, who has like a secondary thing, he's a chef. He's going to have I'm sure a friggin' restaurant in it or something, because he lives for that stuff. So they're drawing up plans. I'm like, do what you got to do.
I love that kind
I'm
of
all
stuff.
for it.
To me, it adds so much to the world, because now we're dictating how the world grows, and we are directly involved in it. I really like that sort of stuff.
Yep, I like that.
It's been 4 hours, and I've got to pee so bad.
Yeah,
I've got to go.
Yeah,
no worries.
Yeah, no, we're gonna wrap up here anyway. So, no, I think that was a really good show talking about etiquette.
Yeah.
And so thank you everybody for coming. Again, I know I've said this before. If you guys in the chat have any ideas for any shows or anything like that, or things you want to see, please put them down. Put them in the comments. But other than that, yeah. Thief Stash or Catacombs. Yeah. Well, but yeah, it's been great. I think great time. A lot of good content here. There's even a lot of things that I didn't think of. So just fantastic. But yeah, I guess that's that. So we'll see you guys on the other side. We'll see you guys next week. And that's a good comment.
Wait, one more.
And right there.
One more.
So
6. The count is 6.
Oh, yeah. All right. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, it's
We'll
fun.
see you
Thanks.
guys later.
See y'all
later.